around. They're doing it really well. Another first down. 6 points for Ward. A pitch out there. Good run for the Hurricanes. Denby's going in the air for a bomb. Catch. The Wolverines, the 10, 5, touchdown Woodside. High school football tonight from Newport News, Virginia and Todd Stadium. It is Denby versus Heritage. And welcome to our 24th year of high school football. Greg Bickaveris along with Nate Milton as well. And Nate, always a pleasure. When you talk about these two teams, quite a rivalry.
Absolutely. You got two of the best young coaches in the Peninsula District. This is a great way to kick off our season, Greg.
The weather is an equalizer.
Right. We're going to see tonight if the rain can be a hindrance or a help to the running and passing games of both teams. Very excited tonight. Tristan, it's your first night up in the booth. We got the lights, the camera, and the action. What are you excited about?
I'm excited for this game tonight, and I'm excited to be working with you two gentlemen.
Absolutely. Look forward to working with all three of you right here from Todd Stadium and Newport News. Let's get down to the field for some action. A lot of festivities going on, respectively, from our wonderful school board as well.
Ron Wyatt, the side judge Craig Moore, the field judge Jermaine Ball, and the back judge is Patrick Mills.
Thank you. That's done. And I think now this is done. He wants to, listen to me, he's going to come out at the end of the first quarter.
All right, back here to Todd Stadium in Newport News, Greg Bickaveris, Nathan Milton, and of course Tristan Ryan's great rivalry. Nate, we talked about these two showcase schools in Newport News, both made the postseason from a year ago. Heritage and Denby, of course. Heritage is the home team, Denby in the white, coached by Marcellus Harris. And when you talk about these two teams, they both want to get off to a good start.
Absolutely. You know, Heritage struggled a little bit in their first game, but they were able to find a win. Denby looked pretty impressive, but were not able to come out with the victory. We're going to see tonight which team can kind of get that momentum rolling and start off the season on a good note.
And, of course, the wonderful school board members walking off respectively right there in Newport News. All part of the coin toss and the wonderful festivities of this high school football game between these two wonderful schools in Newport News. Of course, you can see the school board meetings right here on the Newport News School System.
Tourists from around the area.
TV.com as well. So right there, for more, log on to NPSTV.com. Thank you, school board members, for what you do 24/7 for our kids. There's the referees, Carter Ficklin, the umpire Chris Owens, the linesman Dwayne Bourne, the line judge Ron Wyatt, the side judge Craig Moore, field judge Jermaine Ball, and the back judge is Patrick Mills. High school football showcase right here in Newport News, and of course both these teams excited to play, and of course Nate, these two teams, they don't want to have it be lackadaisical, although Denby lost the first game last week, of course, to Tab, and Heritage beat Wilson. It's a brand new week this week. Each game is almost like a playoff game.
Right, and I'm very intrigued to see what Denby does. You know, even though they lost to Tab, they put up 34 points on the board, and I'm interested to see what they can do with this passing attack and quarterback Jamal Wells. It should be a very interesting matchup tonight.
Absolutely, and of course, these two teams, like a lot of the teams in Newport News, trying to get to the postseason. Of course, you cannot wait to the last minute. You know, one thing about the new districts and the realignment, it does reward mediocrity. That is not always good for a kid's psyche.
Right. You know, it may be nice that everybody gets a trophy, so to speak, but that's not what it's all about. You want to see these kids go out there and perform on the field and earn a spot in the postseason. And with the new format, you know, I don't think it rewards everybody.
There's George Massenburg, Heritage football team, won the state championship back in 2000. We did that game right here on our airwaves, respectively. Beautiful night for football. The one thing about the rain, Nate, it's made the evening a little bit cooler.
Right. It's a little bit cooler out here. Fortunately, the rain has gone away. Thank you, Mother Nature. But we're going to see if a hurricane can set down on the field tonight, Greg.
Absolutely. When you talk about Heritage right there, and Chick-fil-A, our presenting sponsor, they are really great. Take care of our crew. Let them feed you as well. Open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner at 12423 Warwick Boulevard in the Heidenwood Shopping Center. Open daily Monday through Saturday. Give them a call at 595-0316. Home of the chicken sandwich and those great grilled nuggets, and, of course, breakfast, too.
Absolutely. Shout out to the good people at Chick-fil-A. They fed our crew tonight. Let them feed your crew. They didn't invent chicken, but they did invent a great chicken sandwich.
Extra pickles, right, Nate?
Extra pickles, extra mayo. That's how I like it. With a little cheese on it.
That's it. And, of course, the showcase game right here from Todd Stadium, a different feel at Todd Stadium. Our hats off go to Dick Tyson, who retired recently after several decades in the Newport News schools.
Yeah, definitely one of the names that you associate with athletics in this area. Just a great man, and it's great to see the legacy that he started here at Todd Stadium continue on, and that's what it's all about. Seeing the kids out here on a Friday night, showing their school pride, showing their city pride, and it's going to be a great game tonight.
Don't forget, we got Nate's report card coming up in the fourth quarter. We got the coaching tenure graphic we'll show you in the first quarter of all 5 of our Newport News schools. You'll be surprised who the top 2 are in tenure. They're the Denby Patriots. Beautiful uniforms right there. Coached by Marcellus P2 Harris. Ran for city council this past year.
Yes, not just a great coach, but also a politician. Unfortunately, did not win, but I see big things in his future. He's a great man that cares about the community, cares about the city, and I think he's got some great things on the field and off in his future. Now, the big thing for me is we bring Tristan in here. We just had Labor Day. It's back to school. It's only been a couple weeks, both on the field and in the classroom. It must be hard. What are your thoughts about these teams coming in and just starting the season off on the right note?
I think it's a good point you made there, Nate, and I really feel that they really need to get off on the right foot, especially starting so early in this season.
That's what it's all about, Greg. They got to start off on the right foot and be proactive, like you say all the time.
Absolutely. Of course, the attitude, the desire, consistency in shape, being proactive. You see the fans right there. Keep an eye on the football, focus, stay hydrated in this humidity too. And really, that's a big deal, is to stay hydrated.
Yeah, early on in the season, it's easy to get cramps. It's easy, to not take care of yourself because you're used to those 2-a-days. But both of these coaches, Coach Massenberg as well as Coach Harris, they're former players. They know what it's all about out there in the field, and I'm sure they got these guys ready to roll tonight.
Absolutely, right there. Beautiful Todd Stadium. Fans still coming into the ball game here tonight. 12-minute quarters in the Virginia High School League. Carter Flicklin, the referee, was my youth basketball coach at St. Andrews way back. Had his big anniversary wedding as well this past year to Carter Ficklin. About ready to kick off here from Todd Stadium in Newport News. Our 24th year of high school football.
Yes, and the more things change, the more they stay the same, bringing you the best in high school football action here on Channel 47. And it's just great to bring it to you folks.
Nate will be doing his bullet points throughout the broadcast as well as I, so stay tuned for those. A lot of good stuff. Twitter as well, at Greg Bick. Twitter handle?
Oh, you can find me all over the place, Greg, but especially at @8 MOZAIK, Nate Mosaic on Twitter.
All right, we're underway right here from Todd Stadium, ready to kick it off, and Denby will kick it into the evening sky in Newport News. And that's where Heritage will have it on this beautiful grass field at Todd Stadium. Right near the 30 for the Hurricanes, coached by George Massenberg. And, of course, Heritage likes that multiple eye offense.
Right. They're going to start off with some pretty good field position. And, we've heard a lot about this team coming into the season. Of course, we followed their road to the postseason last year. We're going to see if they can continue that momentum here in 2014, Greg.
Heritage with the football right now. 12-minute quarters. Just underway. Heritage in the maroon, Denby in the white. Hurricanes going right to left. Luckily, Mother Nature has cooperated a little bit as well.
Hopefully the only storm we see is the Hurricanes out there tonight, Greg.
A little delay here at the outset. And Denby's going to look for every little advantage they can to take advantage of Heritage.
Right, Denby's got to be progressive here. They've got to stay on the attack, both defensively and offensively. They got to go in there and make some moves when it comes to attacking this Heritage football team. Heritage is very disciplined, but one of the things that they've got to work on is just having these guys step up, having these guys stay ready for this battle that they're going to go into tonight. And here we go, folks.
All right. As the clock ticks right here for the Hurricanes. You want to get off to a good start. Again, last week, Heritage beat Wilson 26-8. Denby lost to Tab 44-34.
Right. Heritage, they had a great opening drive against Wilson, but then you started to see some sloppiness. So we're going to see tonight if they can start strong and keep it going, Greg.
2nd and 5 right now from the 20 for the Hurricanes. See their quarterback respectively, Nate, number 7. It's Malik Deloach. And the Hurricanes keep it up on the ground. See number 23 respectively right there, Chrison Shackelford.
Just a good one-off tackle right there. Starting simple, using those bread and butter plays early on in the game tonight.
And usually the defense and special teams are ahead of the offense early in the season.
Right.
You want to run the ball a little bit.
We're going to see a little bit of that tonight. But for Heritage, with that great ground game, I think they can make up that distance.
Great job by Tristan tonight with some great notes as well. And there's the Hurricanes making a hurricane right there on the run. And you want to get that running game situated, as you see right there, number 6 for Heritage, respectively, our good friend Omar Martin.
And you mentioned, Greg, how sometimes the defense and special teams is ahead of the offense. Well, this is the way that you can kind of neutralize that by running the football and using those big offensive linemen to pave the way.
Heritage going right to left on the TV dial. There you see George Massenberg right there, the head coach. Learned a lot from Mike Smith, who's been the head coach for the Crabbers since 1971. Hurricanes just keeping it on the ground. And that was the mark of so many good Hampton teams keeping the ball on the ground. And he's doing right there what the Crabbers do as well. He's a Crabber himself.
Right, and the thing with Denby, the Denby strength is their passing game. And the way that you can neutralize a passing game is by keeping them off the field. And you can do that by running and using that ball control offense. That's what we're seeing by the Hurricanes right now.
And, of course, Heritage, likes the multiply offense. The fans right there in the stands. Denby likes the base defense for the Patriots. 9:39 left in the first quarter. No score, just underway at Todd Stadium. Hurricanes, good defense there by the Patriots. Denby needs to make some big plays, too, on defense as well.
Right. You know, Denby, their strength is their speed. Their strength is their secondary. You know, up front, they really have some issues in terms of getting it done. But the big boys, and there we see the cheerleaders cheering on these Hurricanes. The big boys have got to get it done in the trenches. The front four have to make a statement tonight.
9-10 right here, 3rd and 2, big third down. See how you want to react on third down conversions as well for Heritage going right to left. Number 7, Malik Deloach.
I'll be looking for a play action right here.
And they get it and then some. Nice run there by the Hurricanes. Number 28, Roy Johnson. Carter Ficklin and the crew out here tonight. Beautiful Todd Stadium in Newport News.
And there you see just a great job right there. This is our 24th year of exclusive prep sports on NNPS TV and NNPSTV.com. And a great job right there by Johnson picking up the first down.
8:30, no score. And nice run by the Hurricanes again on the outside. Number 4, Marcus Van Hook. Prep
Van
football
Hook did a
presented by
great job right
Chick-fil-A,
there.
the Hollywood Shopping Center in Newport News. And sports highlights on NNPSTV.com.
And right there, that was a sports highlight by Van Hook, who usually stays out in the flats, but right there they did a great job with the direct snap, and he was able to pick up some positive yardage.
1st and 10 at the 23 of Denby. Heritage in total control in this opening drive. You can see the confidence that Massenberg's squad has got. Heritage has had some great players over the years like Michael Johnson and Bruce Royal. Denby, of course, the great Max Yates played for them.
I would say Heritage's weakness coming into the season, Greg, was probably uncertainty at quarterback. But the way that you can offset that is by a great running game. And we've seen that so far in the first quarter. Just a lot of ground and pound by the Hurricanes. And they're really wearing down this Denby Patriot defense.
2nd down for the Hurricanes was set first quarter as the weather has cooperated tonight. Hurricanes in the maroon, Denby in the white. And right up the middle, touchdown Heritage. Number 4, Marcus Van Hook hooks everybody up.
That was a great job right there. They had a multiple set in the backfield, and they gave it to the big man, Marcus Van Hook. the senior who did the job running straight up the middle. He's all about that base, no trouble in his game right there.
And, of course, the extra point, 6-0 Heritage. It's a very humid night. Extra point coming up. We'll see if they can convert and make it 7-0. Kick is up, and it is. Wait for the official. It's good. Let's take a look at it again.
All right, Greg, here you see they've got that multiple backfield working, and it's very deceptive to the defense. And then right there, Van Hook's going to take it. He's going to break through the line. Denby's going to try to tackle him. Weevils wobble, but they don't fall down. Marcus Van Hook taking it to the house saying, I live here. Y'all just paying rent.
And you see how good that footwork was as well.
And that's what it's all about. Like Van Hook, he's not the biggest guy, but he's got that footwork and that low center of gravity, and that allowed him to get into the end zone, Greg.
Got to play for 48 minutes. Stay prepared. Great tradition in Heritage. Weight training, positive, good teammates. Staying focused for the future and staying in motion. You got to move without the football. You just can't wait for the football to come to you. You've got to go to the football.
Right, and a lot of times, Greg, it's all about who can be the most aggressive. And right there, we saw a great opening drive by Heritage. They were able to keep it moving and put some points on the board.
7:31 left here in quarter number one. Hurricanes up 7-zip. Respectively here in Newport News at Todd Stadium. What a beautiful field it looks like tonight. And Denby's got daylight. Denby's got daylight. Nice special teams return by the Patriots. Number 14, Aaron Rowe. Row your boat.
Aaron Rowe said, you know, that touchdown was pretty nice, Marcus Van Hook, but let me show you something, how the Patriots do it. Special teams, a big part of the game, and that's great field position right now for Denby. And, of course, you are watching Prep Football on Cox Cable Channel 47 in Newport News, Verizon Fios 17, and, of course, on nnpstv.com.
Take a look at that special teams return.
And special teams, again, one of the three big facets of your football team. And here we see a great job by the return team setting up a wall, setting up some blockers, setting up some defenders. And here you're going to see Rowe right there. You see the over pursuit by Heritage. They over pursuit and then Rowe. Just the big body, the speed, breaks through.
Row your boat. Good run. Here come the Patriots. Nowhere that time. And that is Jamal Wells. What do you expect here from Wells, the quarterback?
Wells is a very, very interesting player to me, Greg. You know, the transfer, he's only been here for a couple weeks, and he's already looking like he is the perfect quarterback for this B2 passing game. You know, I think he's a guy that has a lot of skill. It's just going to be a matter of can he work and fit in with this offense.
And the big loss, of course, for Denby last year was Terrence Dingle. And for Heritage was, of course, Nate's favorite, Wani Patillo.
Yes, two great players from the Peninsula District.
Two of the best ever. And no daylight. At first, flags all over the place. At the 6:36 mark in the first quarter, it is. Heritage 7, Denby nothing. Greg Bickaveris, Nate Milton, Tristan Ryan's glad you're with us. You see Carter Ficklin right there. My old youth basketball coach.
We'll say the great Carter Ficklin. How many times did he penalize you, Greg?
He said, you shoot too much. You see all the gray hair he's got, Dave? You see where he got it from.
I was going to say, most of that comes from Greg Bickaveris.
Carter's mic's not working either. Don't forget sports highlights on nnpstv.com. Sports Scene on 1650 a.m. every Wednesday from noon to 1. 6:36 left right here in quarter number one. Denby in very good field position, 2nd and 10. Now 2nd and 3 after that penalty. Another penalty. Flags all over the place, folks.
Wow.
So Heritage is giving Denby some daylight.
Yeah, and I think this has a lot to do, Greg, with, you know, just being early on in the season. And teams have got to be a little bit more disciplined in this. You can't make silly mistakes like this.
It takes 2 or 3 weeks to get ready, but sometimes you can dig yourself in a hole early. Clock continues to roll. 7-0 is the score in favor of Heritage. Here at Todd Stadium in Newport News, this beautiful grass field, the pigskin, football, everything. Denby in the white going left to right. The quarterback's in trouble. He's shaky. Oh, he goes down. when you have an inexperienced quarterback, when you start going backwards, bad things can happen.
Right, and as good as Wells looked last week, that's still a learning process that has to come between a quarterback and his line. And right there, you saw the protection broke down a little bit. Wells started getting those happy feet out there tap dancing like Gregory Hines, and they brought him down.
And that well was empty. No water in the well.
You never. Now, Tristan, this is what it's all about. You got a young quarterback here with this offense. He's talented, but it's going to take some time to get working with this unit.
Yes, Nate, that's correct. And it really depends on how his offensive line really decides to work.
Yeah, you can't get the receptions without protection. That's what I always say.
And Denby on a short screen pass. Good defense by the Hurricanes. Flags again, folks.
They are going the complete opposite way, Greg. They were so close to the end zone, and now you see because of blown coverage and blown protection schemes, they're moving backwards away from the goal.
And as the quarterback goes, the whole team goes. When he's indecisive, it affects the entire offense, defense, and special teams because they feed the energy off the quarterback.
Right. I was super impressed with Jamal Wells last week, and I think he's got a lot of talent, and this Denby team is going to go a long way.
They're playing a better team than
not the way they're looking right now.
Personal foul on the Hurricanes, says Carter Ficklin. With 5:14 left. See the fans right there, have their umbrellas out. Rain or shine, they're playing football.
So we got a pretty good crowd tonight considering the weather out here.
Oh, yeah. There's people watching on NNPS TV, nnpstv.com. Seven nothing. Hurricanes, Denby going left to right on the TV dial. 1st and 10, respectively, for Marcellus B2 Harris's team. Denby's had some great coaches over the year like Matt Boone and John Quillen. John Quillen beat Hampton on this field in 1989. A.C. Cawthorn coached Denby. Bob Schmidt. And the screen pass is good, but dropped. Right in the hands, but the ball was dropped. That comes from nerves. And, of course, like a wet football, too.
Right. There's some nerves. There's some wet football. There's still the quarterback getting to learn, his receivers getting the timing down. And you mentioned B2 and kind of the legacy of Denby coaches. What I like about Coach Harris is he's always got these quarterbacks. You talk about Simons, you talk about Dingle, and now you talk about, this young kid, Jamal Wells. There's some really good quarterbacks, and I think they've got the perfect guy to learn from in Coach Harris. And, of course, you got to tell your friends about nnpstv.com. Tweet it out, shout it out, put it on Facebook. Let them know that this is your spot for the best high school sports action.
7-0 Heritage. Denby again in trouble. Interception. We can read it, Nate. You and I read it the whole game. Flags all over the place. And an interception, and that really was just a bad pass.
Right. Dimitri Holloway on the pick right there. And, again, also Malik DeLoach in there making some big plays. But, that's what it's all about. When you got a young quarterback who is still getting acclimated to this offensive system, you can pressure him into making mistakes, and that's what we saw right there.
And Denby's had great players, like we said, like Terrence Stingle and Max Yates in the past. Let's take a look at it again, folks. But it was a turnover. And turnovers are no good.
Yeah, you can't have turnovers, especially when you're that close to scoring, Greg. And there you see just a pass just floating right there, put a little too much air under it. And there you see the pick by number 7, Malik DeLoach.
Going both ways.
Right, a two-way player, probably the best player on the team. Put his hands in the cookie jar. He took the chocolate chips, the peanut butters, the Malamars, the macadamia, and took it back.
Don't forget the baklava, too.
Oh, the baklava. We got to get some great Greek food
I haven't had sweets in over 4 months. I've done good.
Hey, you got to treat yourself every now and then.
Once in a while, you got to. All right, 7-0, and that's the thing. You got to take baby steps, but you don't want to make, penalties will hurt you every time.
Yeah, that's really going to hurt Denby. You were that close, and you didn't even come away with a field goal. You got to at least get points when you get in that red zone.
And we said the keys early are that weather as being the equalizer for both teams. And Heritage smart by keeping it on the ground. There, the Hurricanes wide open. Daylight for number 23. Easy come, easy go for Tristan Shackelford.
And that was a great run by Tristan.
They and they want to go home, right?
Shackelford took the shackles off his feet. And here you're going to see they do so much disguising the run game here. And right there you saw Shackelford receive the inside handoff, takes off, gets down the field. And wow, you know, we've shown you a lot of sports, over a dozen different sports on this channel over the years. But football has got to be the favorite here on nnpstv.com.
And of course, that and Chick-fil-A, plenty of room right there for the quarterback. Look at all that time he's got. And the throw is still complete.
Woo!
Nice throw right there by Malik Deloach.
Nice throw by Deloach, but also a nice tackle right there by Denby, not allowing him to advance.
And Ray Price and I want to thank Rachel Davis Hair Studio and Hampton Roads Online Mall.com for supporting us during sports highlights during the September edition from the Winston-Salem Open. Thank you. Of course, that comes on Mondays at 7 a.m., 2 p.m., and 7 p.m. weekends at 9 a.m.
Looking forward to that as always, and you know, it's just goes to show you all the great things that we have going on here.
Live school board meetings, Alexis doing her thing. We got it going on. nnpstv.com. And a nice run right there. Ooh, almost blindsided was Malik Deloach, still on his feet. At the 3:36 mark left in the first quarter, respectively, Greg Pickaveris, Nate Milton, Tristan Rhines. Let's take a look at the coaching tenure, Nate, too, coming up here in just a moment. We'll get to that graphic here momentarily. There you see the score right there by our nice graphics. Regina and Company, 7-0 Heritage over Denby. And there are the Hurricanes on the outside, storming through the Patriots. Number 5, respectively, Timothy Holden Bethea. Let's take a look at the coaching tenure. The dean, of course, is Danny Dotson, the head coach since 1999. Marcellus B2 Harris, the Ranford City Council, head coach since 2008. Hired by the late Dale Rowe. Heritage, George Massenberg, 2011. Menchville, Glenn Tidwell, 2013. And Warwick, congratulations to brand new coach Corey Hairston, just getting off his feet wet in 2014. Great graphic right there, coaching tenure. Dotson only next to Mike Smith. Let's take a look.
Let's take a look at this great run. Again, you talk about Coach Massenberg, what he brings to the program, it is toughness. And here you're going to see a tough run by number 5, Timothy Holden Bethea. Bethea is going to come around the outside, simple sweep, good blocking downfield. And right there, Denby's going to try to bring him down, but you can't arm tackle Bethea. He's a grown man. Don't do that. And he does a great job of picking up some positive yards.
And Heritage is finding their way on the inside, the outside, up the middle in the running game. They don't have to even pass.
And it's kind of like a boxing match, Greg. They're just hitting him with these body blows and wearing him down for the big score.
Like a Mayweather fight or Tyson fight?
Oh, this is more like Tyson than Mayweather.
Okay. Good defense by the Patriots. That might have been the best play for Denby by number 1 right there, Gabriel Boyd.
And Denby has got to do a much better job of stuffing these runs. Right now, you got to force Heritage to throw the ball. That's where they're weakest at when they're passing. You got to force them to do that, get them out of their comfort zone, because right now, Heritage looks pretty comfortable running the ball and slowing down the tempo.
2:34 left in the first quarter. Hurricanes still up 7-0. Greg Pickaveris, Nate Milton, Tristan Rhines, glad you're with us right here. Tell your friends about nnpstv.com. Our 24th year of exclusive prep sports on nnpstv and nnpstv.com. Fumble. Looks like could be a turnover. Wait and see. Yes, Denby gets it. Big break for Marcellus B2 Harris.
Big time break for Denby. Just a great job right there. And turnovers, a very big part of the game, Tristan. Let's take a look right here before we go to Tristan. You're going to see just a good job of Denby getting in there, putting some hats on people, knocking the ball loose, getting it out there, and doing a great job of recovering that football. That's a big-time momentum change right there, Tristan.
That's right. You really cannot have too many turnovers in a game like this, where running the ball heavily takes time off the clock.
That's right. This game has been pretty much about clock control, ball control, Greg, and a mistake like that could do a lot towards changing the balance of this game.
You can't replace a guy like Terrence Dingle overnight. It's going to take time. Either you got it as a passing quarterback. There's no gray area there. Either you can pass or you can't.
Yeah, Terrence Dingle, one of the best quarterbacks we've seen in Newport News in a long, long time.
Yeah.
And you're not just going to find another Terrence Dingle out there anywhere.
2:12 left in the first quarter. Denby just wants to play conservative here and not get a turnover. At Twitter, there we go, folks. It's at Greg Bick, at Sports Highlight, and N8 Mosaic at GJB TV. There you go. Nate and I are big into Twitter. You got to love that Twitter bird that Mr. Price created.
Absolutely. Who's that bluebird
Tweet
flying
us.
out there?
That's
Find us
an
on
awesome
Twitter.
bluebird.
Hit us up. We'll hit you back. And it's just a great – the way social media has kind of changed the way people look at sports.
Tweet. And Denby keeping it on the ground. Trying to, as the first quarter gets close to coming to an end here. Still 7-zip. It's anybody's ball game. Denby's got to realize that.
Right, and Denby needs to realize that they had a good chance to at least be even in this game. They kind of gave up some silly mistakes right there, but they got a chance. And Hampton Roads, if you're out there, the way you spell sports is nnpstv.com. Again, nnpstv.com.
Home of the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich. Nate's report card coming up in the fourth quarter. Glad you're with us along for the ride here on TV and online. Thank you to Sonny Dirth as well for doing a great job with the TV log as well.
Absolutely. Shout out to Sonny. I follow Sonny on Twitter. There we see the cheerleaders hyping up these Hurricanes.
Sonny tweets in his sleep.
Sonny, I think Sonny does tweet in his sleep. There's always some score or some tennis result. Sonny's going to let you know.
Of course, we're in the month of September.
And, of course, in September, we've got some happy birthdays. And I think our own Greg Bigaveris got a birthday coming up here. So happy birthday in advance, my friend.
Thank you. Always a pleasure, Nate. See right there the wonderful festivities we've had going on during the game tonight. 1:26 left. Crew credits coming in the fourth quarter.
So, Greg, as a present to you, I'm going to get you Fusion Fitness. I'm going to allow you to watch Fusion Fitness here on NNPS TV and nnpstv.com so you can work out and live longer, my friend.
Thank
so we
you
can have
so
more
much.
Greg for many more years.
They say you do better standing up, so there you go. New principal for Heritage right there, enjoying herself.
She is the lead cane.
.126 left. Greg Bicaveras, Nate Milton, Tristan Rhines. When you talk about work, Corey Hairston, their head coach, and his key player will be Chris Young. Denby, Marcellus Harris. His key player, DeMarco Brown. Menchville, Glenn Tidwell. His key player will be Malik Dixon. Heritage, of course, George Massenberg. His key player, obviously, is Malik Deloach as well. And Woodside, Danny Dotson. His key player is Sam Alvarez. Bethel, Bubba Hooker. His key player is Quentin Lee and Bo Morgan. Hampton, Mike Smith. His key player is Demetrius Strickland. Phoebus, Jeremy Blunt. His key player is Harry Lewis. Kickitan, Alonzo Coley is the head coach. His key player, Desmond Savage. And at Gloucester, Brandon Kelly's the head coach. His key player, Matt Smith. All fine gentlemen. 1:26, 7-0 Heritage. Third down for Denby. Deep in their territory. Dangerous pass. They should not have done that.
Wow.
It went off one hand, an interception.
Just not a smart thing to do this close to your own end zone right there. Just a great job by the Heritage Hurricanes. That defense looks so much more confident, so much more aggressive right now. Now you see the excitement.
And you had a chance to get some momentum, and then you do a turnover.
Right. There you see just throwing it just right off of the receiver's hands, and a great job by number 10 for the Hurricanes, Justice Fauntleroy. No justice, no peace with the interception, and a great job by these Heritage Hurricanes.
Right off the hands of Malik Sparks.
Not a
Denby had a
good,
chance to get some momentum back, and then they blow it.
right. They're shooting themselves in the foot right now. Not a great job for the Denby Patriots. But Heritage now has a great opportunity to score, Greg.
And the Hurricanes are going to do just that, Nate Milton. They score their 13th point of the game, respectively, by number 4, and that was Marcus Van Hook on the hook.
Marcus Van Hook with his second touchdown of the day, and you knew if you gave Heritage great field position right inside the red zone, they were going to take advantage of it. Just another good play by the Hurricanes.
Denby didn't have to do that. They could have just ran the clock down. What's the rush?
Right, Denby did not have to do that at all. They could have punted, lived to play another day instead of trying to force something into happening, and we saw the results of that.
As Yoda would say, clouded future Denby has.
Denby turning to the dark side right now.
Carter Ficklin calling a flag on the Hurricanes, respectively.
While we get a break, I don't know if we can get a replay of that last scoring play. While we got a break in the action here.
24th year of exclusive prep sports on NNPS TV and NNPSTV.com. Remember, NNPSTV.com, folks. Mark it down. Watch the live webcast 24/7. On your computer. The extra point is up, and it is no good. No good. So it's 13-zip in favor of Heritage still. That's 13 points in the first quarter.
Right. And it's 13 points that Denby did not have to allow. And, Heritage doing a great job in that last play. Just a great job of running that ball in. Marcus Van Hook, again, the hero of the day. Now, Tristan, what I'm seeing right now is two teams that are talented, but one team has confidence and poise. The other team is shook right now. What are you thinking about Heritage right now?
I'm thinking Heritage really has a great opportunity to take control of this game, especially with a great lead of 13-0 almost near the end of the first quarter.
Absolutely.
70 seconds left in the first quarter. They played 12-minute quarters. Remember, the field's been wet. Of course, some of the prep storylines this year is what will new coach Corey Harrison do at Ward? Can Denby get back in the playoffs? Not after looking like they are tonight so far. And which Newport News team will emerge? Obviously, it's going to be Heritage and Woodside early on.
Yep, I think Heritage, Woodside, those have got to be your favorites in the clubhouse. Denby has the potential if they can get things together. Right now, we're not seeing a lot of poise from this team.
Menchville's improved, but they took a dip against Bethel last week.
Menchville did a great job against Maury, but
went backwards against the Bethel. They had a flashback.
And I think what you're seeing, Greg, is a lot of young coaches coming in here in the Peninsula District and Newport News, specifically with Coach Harris, with Coach Massenberg, with Coach Hairston, and we're seeing Newport News start to step up and challenge these Hampton schools.
$13-0 in favor of the Hurricanes. Glad you're with us from Todd Saban, Newport News. Of course, a lot of issues about sports now is the speed of the game, too, as well.
It's the speed of the game, but it's also, you've got to work fast, but you've also got to have your technique. You got to maintain the precision, and we just haven't seen that tonight from the Denby Patriots.
And the Patriots right there on the special teams run. On the outside, they got some daylight. That might be the best play of the game so far for Denby by number 14, Aaron Rowe. He's done very good on special teams.
I was going to say, so far, Denby's special teams unit has been the one unit that has performed tonight.
59 seconds left in the first quarter. High school football presented by Chick-fil-A at the Hollywood Shopping Center, Newport News. Of course, college football, how will UVA football do? Off to a bad start, losing to UCLA. The playoff system, how will that work this year? And, of course, Florida State, will they repeat?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the season. Florida State, there you see the great excitement. Ohio State, I know you're a big Buckeyes fan, Greg. We're going to see how Ohio State does without Braxton Miller for a year. Notre Dame, I think Notre Dame has a shot to be good this season. A lot of great stories out there.
Sure is. Of course, every game is paramount. Time, talent, and treasure for all these schools. Off the field, academics, athletics, activities. All about attitude, desire, consistency. Denby's got to get some type of momentum, some type of spark. They've been kind of flat other than those special teams plays by Aaron Rowe for Marcellus Harris's team. That's where you look at, do you have the quarterback of the future here? And they keep it on the ground across the 40.
That was a smart, safe play, Greg, to kind of work themselves back into things. As bad as they've looked at times, they're only down 13 points. They're not out of this thing yet.
But you have the offense to come back, and that's the thing. They did score 34 against Tab last week in a loss. Back in the day, Tab was a double-A team. They were in the Peninsula District under Charlie Hovis back in the mid-90s, the late Charlie Hovis. So the final 25 seconds roll here in the first quarter. All the realignment by the VHSL, respectively, hasn't worked out for travel and cost. Good defense by the Hurricanes. 13-zip Heritage. Final 10 seconds. As it's still a little overcast here in Newport News. And that will be the end of the first quarter. With the score, it is Heritage 13 and Denby nothing here at Todd Stadium in Newport News in our high school football showcase right here. We'll take a break in just a moment. 13-zip Heritage. All right, they're doing a little kicking competition right there. You see Mike Nichols and the wonderful kids right there. Kind of reminds you of the old punt, pass, and kick a little bit, Nate.
Yeah, it's great to see the youngsters out there. Oh, look like Lucy pulled the ball away from Charlie Brown right there.
There you go. At least he's trying. I'd like to see Mike out there and try to kick it a few times.
It's what it's all about, having fun with the community, with the kids, just being a part of everything. Good to see Mike Nichols out there. Mike doing a great job, just being a part of the community.
Just getting started. Longtime principal at Heritage. These football players are like, we're all business here. Give the kids a shot out there. There you go.
Uh-oh.
How about the girls kicking? Where they at? They don't kick.
That was fun.
All right, still 13-zip in the second quarter. Greg Picavaris, Nate Milton, and, of course, Tristan Rhines here at the top of the hour here in Newport News. Glad you're with us. For more, go to nnpstv.com, Cox Cable 47517. An incomplete pass. What are the keys here, first of all, for Denby and then for Heritage?
Well, the keys for Denby is just to remain calm, to remain poised, not to rush, not to pressure things, because the reason Heritage is up right now is because Denby's made some mistakes and turned the ball over. Heritage, on the other hand, has to keep doing what they're doing, running the ball. Marcus Van Hook with 2 scores already in the game, just slowing things down and dictating the pace. That's what they've been doing, and that's why they're on top right now.
13-zip, Heritage. A lot of conferences out here tonight. It's almost like a referee conference. I want to thank Mick McCullough as well.
Doesn't that always happen when they know they're on TV?
American Idol, huh?
Make sure they get the good side.
Of course, Denby has that explosive offense capabilities, but it's been stagnant tonight. Still learning. Defense young and athletic. Denby likes the spread offense over the years by B2 Harris. 4-3 base defense. Heritage has always liked the multiple eye offense, 4-3 defense. Strength has been the receivers for Heritage. Weakness has been the depth, but not tonight. They look great tonight. Is it midnight yet, Nate Milton? 13-0.
You're fine.
Denby right now 4th and 3. It's been flat. They need some premium gasoline instead of regular.
I don't know what they need, some fuel injector or something, some WD-40 to ease out some of that rust. They got to get it going.
Yeah. Both teams have been kind of rusty, but Heritage has got those 2 touchdowns early on. Nate will give us a recap in just a moment. Nate, go ahead and give us a recap now.
All right, of course, in the first quarter, it was all Heritage. We saw a touchdown run by Marcus Van Hook. The PAT was good. And then moments before the end of the quarter, after an interception, Marcus Van Hook ran in another touchdown. They missed the PAT, and the score is the Heritage Hurricanes 13, the Denby Patriots not on the board yet.
With 11:50, only 10 seconds have gone by in the second quarter. Bad snap.
I'm relaxed.
Decent punt, though, by number 4,
This is my relaxed face.
Elijah Rice.
Marcus Van Hook calls for and takes the fair catch for the Heritage Hurricanes.
Let's go to an interview with Miss
Just
Gerald.
inside the Hurricane
This is
25-yard
my not
line.
relaxed face.
This is Josh Stout with NNPS TV. I'm here today with Shamika Gerald, the new principal this year at Heritage High School. Ms. Gerald, how do you feel coming from Denby and now being at Heritage about this game?
Well, it's kind of bittersweet. I know one of my schools is going to have to lose. I still love my students at Denby. I'm just removed probably about 2 or 3 months from there, but the Heritage family has welcomed me in, so it's going to be bittersweet either way.
And what do you expect from Heritage football team this year?
I expect that they're going to be fantastic. We're looking at a really great and strong team. I really do expect that they're going to kill the Patriots tonight. Sorry, guys.
It looks that way already. And is there anything you would like to add?
It's a great day to be a Hurricane.
All right, thank you. It's Josh Stout signing out, NNPS TV.
43 remaining in the first half.
Wonderful young lady right there. Wish her all the best in her endeavors as a principal. Beautiful girl right there. She has a bright future ahead as a principal. 13-0 right now is the score, as the Hurricanes right now leading the Denby Patriots. And Nate, really the officials have superseded this game tonight.
Absolutely.
It's like a conference.
Like I said, maybe Carter's trying to audition for the next American Idol or America's Got Talent.
I think he wants to be up here in the booth with us. Maybe he wants to be in the truck. Who knows? But anyway. Yeah.
It was a great job by our student reporter on that interview. And I got to say, though, like you mentioned, just a great job from our administrators here at Newport News. Athletics, academics, and activities, that's what it's all about. And you see that tradition continuing.
Absolutely. 11:43. But the key right here has been the time. A lot of delays tonight for whatever reason, not the weather. Who would have thought? Plenty of room right there for the quarterback for the Hurricanes. Yes, complete to number 5. That was Timothy Holden Bethea. Of course, Antoine Bethea played for the Denby Patriots.
Yep, Antoine Bethea, another great member of the lineage, the legacy of players that have come out of Newport News. You talk about Michael Vick, David Macklin, Robert Hunt, some of the great players from the years past, Aaron Brooks, and Antoine Bethea certainly part of that lineage.
Rodney Womble, of course,
and like you mentioned, Greg, more flags here from our officials.
There he is, Carter again on TV. Oh, goodness. Carter Ficklin. I guess this is a way of paying me back for all those years I bugged him as a kid playing basketball for him. That's the only thing I can think of, really. It's not the weather, folks. The weather's great. 23 seconds have gone by in the second quarter. Hello, Carter. We're friends, but anyway. I'm not sure about after tonight, though.
I was going to say, maybe once he sees this broadcast.
And a great catch right there by who else? The one, the only Marcus Van Hook. Or is it?
Or is it? Not
no,
so fast, my
Carter
friend.
Ficklin with the penalty. The referee.
Not so fast, my friends. Let's go ahead and take another look at it anyway, Greg. That was a nice play right here. First big pass down the field for the Hurricanes. And there you're going to see Deloach does a great job. Look at that tight spiral. And here you're going to see Marcus Van Hook going up, leaving. He went to the 12th floor, left his man at the 9th floor, and was able to come down with it. But unfortunately, it was all for nothing.
Who was it? Our buddy Carter Ficklin.
Carter said, that was so nice. Let's see you do it again.
Again. Unbelievable. But anyway, it's all good. We love Carter.
It's kind of a reprieve, a stay of execution for Denby right there.
And you learn by repetition and practice and fundamentals. That's what football is all about, running, opening up the play. And their passing game has worked really good tonight. And there's the bomb. Wide open, incomplete. Ooh. I really like the poise of Deloach. He was a little erratic last year, but he's come into his own.
Yeah, Deloach, he's done a great job, I think, in this game of kind of easing into the thing.
Guess what, Nate?
As I spoke, we have another flag on the play. I haven't seen this much laundry on the fields.
I did 6 loads of laundry recently, folks, but I've never seen this much. Early on. We're still within the first minute.
Hey, it's early in the season for our officials too, Greg.
Right. our next game is not for another few weeks, but the way we're going, we're just going to be right here.
Oh.
Goodness. Where's that Chick-fil-A sandwich when you need it, Nate?
Yeah,
anyway, don't
exactly.
forget
We have to send
24th year of
Tristan down to the
exclusive.
concession stand to get us some Chick-fil-A.
24th year of exclusive prep sports on NNPS TV and NNPSTV.com. Sports highlights on NNPSTV.com.
And, of course, you're watching prep football on Cox Cable, Channel 47 and Newport News, Verizon Fios 17, and NNPSTV.com.
There's George Massenberg. He's wondering what's going on as well. Hurricanes get tripped up there by the Patriots. Number 2, that was Devon Stevens on the tackle. Of course, Denby likes that base defense. Heritage likes the same thing that Mike Smith has run for so many years at Hampton, the multiple eye. Smith has won so many state championships. In 74, Bethel won. 75, Hampton won. 76 back to Bethel, 77 Hampton. Of course, Smith and Cos went back and forth so many times. Even 30 years ago, they played each other twice during the regular season, when Mickey Incomenius and Creighton Incomenius played for Bethel. 30 years ago. Unbelievable. Nate Milton, you are old, my friend. And looking and scrambling in trouble, and down goes Deloach. Denby needs some type of spark somewhere.
Yeah, and if you're not going to get your spark from your offense, then your special teams and your defense have to pick up the slack. And we saw a great job of pursuit right there by that Denby front four, bringing Deloach down. And, that's what they need. They need to make some stops, get some stops so you can get your offense back on the field.
NFL preview, of course. Redskins got a new coach. How will they do? Seattle looked very good against Green Bay. Will they repeat? And the concussions are always an issue in college and NFL football, and even high school football.
Yeah, concussions are a serious thing, and Wes Welker for the Denver Broncos, he's out for a few weeks with concussions. We've seen a number of other guys out with concussions, and it's not something that you can play with because, you may feel okay, but you got to take that seriously because that's going to affect you the rest of your life.
Don't forget, you can watch our games on the computer, nnpstv.com. Life is mobile. Take it on the go. And we'll see if they call him down or not. Looks like they say he was down.
Let's see if we can get another look at that on instant replay because I'm not so sure he was down, Greg.
Clock continues to roll at the 9:05 mark. 13-0 Heritage. Let's take a look at it again.
Here you're going to see. It's a great job, again, with that multiple back formation.
Jingling.
Doing his best flojo, Bob Beeman. I'm not so sure.
It was close.
It was close.
Could have gone either way, Nathan Milton.
It was very close. It was very close.
13-0 Heritage. They're in total control. It's almost like they feel like they can go in the cruise control and still win this game.
And that's the kind of thing, though, like on that fumble, when you're doing
all over the
well,
place.
you make your own breaks. You make your own luck, and that's what we're seeing from Heritage. And again, this is Prep Football presented by Chick-fil-A at the Hydenwood Shopping Center in Newport News.
Carter Ficklin again. Laundry on the field. Look at that graphic right there. Nate, how many loads of laundry did you do recently?
Oh, I'm telling you what. I usually do, a load of laundry every couple of days. But, this tonight, that's a whole lot of quarters right there to do all that laundry.
8:33 and counting. 4th and 23 for Heritage. They got a punt. Wobbly punt, almost like a soccer-style punt, goes nowhere. Denby's got to put something in motion here for Marcellus B2 Harris's team. Greg Pickaveris, Nate Milton, Tristan Rhines, glad you're with us. 24th year of high school football. Danny Dotson, the dean, head coach at Woodside since 1999. B2 Harris since 2008.
Denby's got great field position here, Greg, but they're going to have to take advantage of it. They cannot afford to turn the ball over.
So that nice graphic, laundry on the field. And we'll see what Denby can do going right to left on the TV dial in the white uniforms at the 8:21 mark. Of course, Wednesday night's our night for showcasing high school football.
Right. Wednesday night is your new destination for high school football. There you see the cheerleaders. We got the pomp and circumstance, and we got the action on the field.
You hear the assistant coaches, but I think the players now are almost paranoid by the officials almost because he froze like a deer in headlights.
Yeah, we saw what appeared to be a fumble, but then the players are like, wait a minute, which way do we go, George? Which way do we go? The crowd not taking too kindly to our officiating crew, but that's the way football goes. Sometimes it goes your way, sometimes the ball bounces the other way.
There are the fans right there in the stands, enjoying themselves. Denby's got the football. 8:15 for Marcellus B2 Harris's squad. Denby's had great players like Max Gates and Karen Stingle in the past. Good run right there by the Patriots. Jamal Wells, 6'3", 210 senior.
And perhaps that was the break that Wells and the Patriots need right there. They could have had a fumble, but they got the ball back. And here you see on this replay, just a great job. Jamal Wells, he's like, you know what, I'm going to take it myself. I'm a big boy, put the load on my shoulders. Oh, you thought you were going to bring me down. You got to do more than that. Stop arm tackling me. And Jamal Wells picks up some positive yardage. You got to love it when you see the physicality out there, Greg. You know, it's hard hitting, but it's not dirty, and that's what you want to see from the kids.
This is tackle football. And again, officials doing their thing. Usually you don't want to be the story when you're the officials, but tonight they have been the story name.
Yeah, for better or for
whatever
worse,
reason.
You know, it's been about these penalties. It's been about the slow play here in the second quarter, and that's not the story that you want to take away. There you see again a great shot of the crowd and our cheerleaders out here cheering on the Heritage Hurricanes. You don't want to see the officials take over the game, and unfortunately that's become the story here. And they're doing their best out there, but when
like to see some
see so many penalties, so many stoppages of play, it interrupts the flow of the game.
It does. I mean, it's obvious. I mean, we can't hide that on TV. You see it's stopping a lot, more so than I've seen in a long time. I'd like to get some B2 Harris reaction as well. The coach at Denby on the other side if we can. I'm sure he is not happy at all. His team made the postseason a year ago. They're already 0-1 already in the year. Play their games at Todd Stadium and Darling Stadium over the years. 1 week at a time where football games become an event more than any other sport.
Yeah, with baseball, basketball, you've got multiple games during the week. Football, you got that one game. That one game a week to cheer on your team, to support them. And, nobody does it better than NNPS TV with the high school football here in the Peninsula District.
And Denby on a nice run right there by the quarterback. Best play of the game for the Patriots goes out of bounds, respectively. Number 5, Jamal Wells. And he does a great job there by the kid.
Jamal Wells, and he's a big guy, but he's quick on his feet, and you saw that right there. And again,
let's take a look at it again.
Look, here you're going to see Jamal Wells.
Hesitated at first.
He's had a lot of interceptions on, and a lot of turnovers, but right here he says, you know what, I'm going to take it myself. I'm big, but I got quick feet. Watch the steps, watch the footwork. Turn down for what? Jamal Wells, first down, Denby Patriots.
Yeah, he's turning down for what? 8:01 left.
Out there looking like Billy White Shoes Johnson.
Or Earl Campbell even. Back in the day with the Houston Oilers, Earl Campbell was great. Again, another stoppage. Is it 2015 yet, Nate Milton?
It's still 2014, and we're still here at Todd Stadium watching this exciting game between the Patriots and the Hurricanes. And again, don't forget to check out the sports scene on 1650 a.m. each Wednesday from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. So that's the sports scene on Wednesday afternoon, and then football here on NNPS TV Wednesday night
at 7. Nate, you've been on the show before as well?
I have. And a lot of great guests. You had David Macklin on recently, Joe Rubin.
And, of course, sports highlights in October, November will be from Steve's Steakhouse. September, the one you're watching now from the Winston-Salem Open. You see sports highlights right there.
You see sports highlights Mondays at 7 a.m., 2 p.m., and 7 p.m., and Saturday and Sundays at 9 a.m. And it's right here on Cox 47, Verizon Fios 17, and of course nnpstv.com.
From Fargo?
From Fargo to Fresno, Boston to Boise, New York to Newfoundland, and all points in between, this is your destination station for the best in sports, athletics, academics. We got it right here on NNPS TV.
That's it, Nate. The food king himself. They call me the restaurant king. Nate's the food king.
And I especially love Chick-fil-A. They had they fed our crew tonight. Let them feed your crew. Chick-fil-A, that just top notch when it comes to that chicken sandwich.
And the option right there. Good run by Denby. Some daylight by the Patriots. They need to get some of those together, though. And that was Elijah Rice, almost rhyming with Elijah Price.
Almost. And what Elijah Rice and Elijah Price both share is vision. And you saw right there the wide eyes, the vision of that young man, Elijah Rice, running down the field. And this is what Denby needs. They need to slow things down, stop taking so many chances, and work within themselves, within the system.
7:40 left in the second quarter. It is 13-0. Heritage Denby still trying to get off the goose egg. 1st and 10. Great momentum here for the Patriots. We'll see if they can capitalize. Remember, they made that big mistake by throwing the turnover, and then Heritage capitalized. And right now, Denby's just got to be patient.
Yeah, if Denby can cut down on their mistakes, they'll be right back in this thing. There you see again, just a great job looking at Wells.
Simple,
and the,
nice
Denby
uniforms.
Offense.
Kind of like Penn State, you got to keep them simple. I don't like the fact that Penn State's got the names of the jerseys. They were better off without the names of the jerseys.
Yeah, and Penn State had to do what it had to do to get these kids in there. But
right.
There's something about tradition. There's something about the old school that you miss.
And high school's got it. They've got that tradition right here on this field right now. And a nice run there by the quarterback, respectively. Jamal Wells, 6'3", 210 senior. Of course, Heritage, we mentioned, likes that 4-3 defense, and that's been kind of struggling tonight. Heritage beat Wilson last week 26-8.
And this is what it's all about.
beat Denby 44-34. And Bethel, of course, beat Menchville 46-23. Kecoughtan beat Warwick 47-6. And Woodside shut out Granby 40-0. So the Newport Youth Schools went 2-3 the first week. And that pass is...
Wow.
And when you start stuttering there deep in the red zone, that's when trouble happens.
Yeah, that was very close to a crucial error right there. And you see, they're making such good strides right now, making such good progress. And if you see that you don't have somebody open, run out of bounds or throw it away. Do not make the mistake of giving the ball to the other team, and that's what Wells cannot afford to do right now.
Look, I know the field is wet, but it's not Sharknado or anything.
Right, no sharks and tornadoes coming on the field. It's just a hurricane right now, and if you see the hurricane, throw it out of bounds, throw it away.
And Denby up the middle. I want to thank Mr. Ray Price for these beautiful shirts that we've got here. I tell you one thing, in all the years I've been at Telecom, this is the most comfortable shirt I have ever worn. Nate and I both like XX for me, and you like 3XL. We love it because we like to have that space. And you got to admit, Nate, in all the years, these are the most comfortable shirts we've ever had.
Not only comfortable, but they look good. They bring out the sparkle in my eyes, which is probably most important for the people out there in television land.
That's it. 3rd and 3. What will Denby do? Can they score? Not there. Tripped up. At the 5:30 mark left. What will B2 Harris do next? Head coach at Denby since 2008, went to Ferguson High School. Father, a longtime pastor at Newport News. His sister went to Ferguson High School at Newport News. For those of you remember Ferguson, of course. 13-0 is the score. Heritage. Nate, smart move. Denby going for it.
I think it's a smart move. They got to go for it. Get some points on the board, get some momentum.
And they're going to run it. And the quarterback does it himself. He's proactive. 6 points for the Denby Patriots. by Jamal Wells. The well isn't dry there.
Let me tell you, they went to the wells one more time, and they found some water right there. Jamal Wells getting Denby on the board.
He was like the lone survivor.
Here you go. You see, the defense from Heritage does a good job flushing him out of the pocket, but when you get him out of there, you got to bring him down. And he does a great job of running past that Heritage Hurricane defense, using that big frame to get into the end zone. And Denby is back in this, folks.
And kids, that's what you got to learn right there when you're watching the game, the fundamentals. If your teammate isn't responding, take the load on your shoulders. A leader, a quarterback does that.
And perhaps most importantly, we saw Denby adapt. You know, instead of going for the throws, they received a point after try.
And it's good.
Denby adapted. You know, instead of going for the throws, they said, you know what, we're going to work slowly, work within ourselves, and run the ball, and that's what they did.
All right, we'll take a break. It's 13-6 currently, and we'll be back after these messages.
I'm the greatest hitter in the world! Strike one.
13-7.
I'm the greatest hitter in the world! Strike two. I'm the greatest hitter in the world! Strike three. Wow. I'm the greatest pitcher in the world. Yes! Optimism. Pass it on. A message from the Foundation for a Better Life.
And we are back in our 24th year of exclusive prep sports coverage here on NNPS TV and NNPSTV.com. 13-7 the score. Denby Patriots trailing the Heritage Hurricanes, but it's a closer game, Greg.
Very smooth game for us, and our first game of 2014. I want to thank all the crew, all the behind-the-scenes effort they do, folks. It's not just on Fridays they show up. It's a Monday through Friday effort from all the great people in the crew. We'll go over all of them in the fourth quarter, respectively. They do a wonderful job with our audio and video. Great job by our crew, always. And we look forward to an interview coming up. Special teams kick right there. And the daylight goes across the 40 for the Hurricanes, respectively, Nate Milton. Let's go down to an interview. All right, it is 4:41 left, respectively, here in quarter number 2.
Never mind, that was my
Heritage
fault.
got the football 1st and 10.
It was half
In
on.
maroon uniforms, coached by George Massenberg. And that's number 6, Omar Martin. Back to the field.
Go ahead.
This is Josh Stout for NNPS TV. I'm here today with Mr. Anthony Vladu, principal of Denby High School. How are things going at Denby this year?
They're going great. We had a great school opening, and we just scored 7 points, so I'm really happy for our team.
All right, how do you feel about facing Heritage this tonight with Mrs. Gerald coming from Denby and now being the principal of Heritage High School?
That's a great question. Amy Gerald is a great friend and a great colleague. So it's almost like playing a game with a friend. We play a friendly game with basketball, and you know, have a little bit of rivalry. But I wish her best of luck, and it's really, really a good time to have to face her here tonight and made the best team win. Okay.
All right, and what are your expectations tonight and for the rest of the season from your football team?
You know, I want my players to play a good game, you know, to put their best on the field, to play the game with integrity. And as long as we do that and we play hard, things are going to be just fine.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Josh Stout signing out, NNPS TV.
All right, great job, Mr. Stout. Doing a fine job right there. 13-7. And our audio guy as well. 3:25 And, of course, what happens now in Nate Milton, Carter Ficklin again.
Yeah. Oh, that was a great interview by Josh and Mr. Vladu, who still has one of the coolest names in terms of principals out there, Mr. Vladu.
Absolutely, 13-7. Don't forget Twitter at Greg Bick at Sports Highlight at HR Online Malcom at N8 Mosaic GJB TV, all on Twitter. Thanks for following. Tweet Nate and I 24/7. Now, Nate, you and I do Twitter right. We do it in moderation. We don't overdo it, unlike some of our colleagues that are on it 24/7.
Right. You know, I tweet when there's something important or there's a good conversation going on, but there's some people that tweet 24/7, 365. You know, if you want to do that, cool, but that's just not the way I do.
You need a life,
Twitter.
too, outside of it. And the thing is, both of us are on Facebook, too, and you can friend us, but we've seen that the media responds to Twitter a lot more when you watch the big networks.
Yeah, the media kind of comes and goes. Like Instagram sometimes is kind of the preferred medium. I'm not on Instagram. Sometimes it's Twitter. Sometimes it's Facebook. You know, it's very interesting to see how social media kind of ebbs and flows.
LinkedIn is not caught on the way they thought it would be.
I don't think so. I don't think so either. But, you know, it's you never can tell what the next big thing is going to be.
Absolutely. Ball rolls onto the field. Of course, you look at the football, and unlike the NFL football, the high school has got some stripes there. The NFL, no stripes. But, of course, the grip of the football is important, holding it, and, you know, you don't want to hold it like a loaf of bread and fumble it.
Yeah, as much as we talked about weather being a factor, thus far, like outside of that interception early on, it really hasn't been that much of a factor because of, you know, just the great job that they maintain this stadium here, the field here at Todd Stadium.
I think people in Hampton Roads are looking forward to the cooler weather. And a nice run by the Hurricanes. Looking like Rodney Howard that played for Dennis Kozlowski at Bethel years ago, number 6, respectively. Omar Martin. We've called Martin and Deloach's name a lot tonight.
Yeah, and Martin is just like a little bowling ball, 5'3", 150 pounds, just a junior, low center of gravity, and does a great job. He's a change of pace, you know, from Deloach and Van Hook and some of the guys like that. He's a little bit more compact, but he's got that early first burst.
There's the fans enjoying the game. Some are using social media as we speak, watching it on nnpstv.com. And good defense there. That's where how it shows you how rough football is. Just take a look at those hits. You see the hits they take, these kids do, folks. It's not easy. They start their day off so early in the morning and try to get some food and hydration. It's a long day for these kids, respectively, playing football and balancing academics and athletics and activities.
Yeah, it's a challenge. You know, you got to balance your schoolwork with the work out here on the field. And I think, you know, with both coaches, these kids have great mentors and great teachers.
They sure do. 2:35 left to intermission. 13-7 Heritage. Greg Bick of Harris, Nate Milton, Tristan Rhines, glad you're with us. Here in this beautiful night for high school football, the field looks great. And the quarterback takes it. That is, of course, number 7, Malik Deloach. Deloach has got a lot more poise. He's not rushing as much. Still needs to work on his consistency, but you can see a year under his belt has made him more consistent. Heritage has had good quarterbacks like Bruce Royal, of course, before in the past.
Yeah, you know, he reminds me of, you know, just kind of a younger version, a more compact version of, I don't know if you remember, good old Jay Reed from Denby.
Yeah.
Kind of got this similar game type, but I think he's a little bit more physical than Jay was, and it's just a matter of him maturing.
And Jay, like Newport used so much, he played for Menchville and Denby both.
And Denby.
The only thing he was missing is Warren Ferguson. Yeah. Jay was a good person. Final few moments here in the first half. Heritage is trying to score something here and put something on the board.
Right. You know, Heritage trying to, you know, step ahead and extend that lead. Denby's got to do something right now, Tristan. This is a very important set of downs for the Patriots.
Yeah, certainly, especially since they need to really start gaining some more momentum and heading into the second half of this game.
You know, momentum is what it's all about. But right now, you know, sometimes you got to make your own breaks, and a big defensive stop right here by the Denby front 7 could be just what the doctor ordered.
Certainly, especially when they really could use more points, especially really going into the second half, trying to gain a lead.
Yeah, and defense is another way you can score points, Greg. If they can get a fumble, get an interception, turn that into some offense.
And Denby would like to stop Heritage from scoring again in the final 1:05 left here in the second quarter. Heritage in the left to right in the maroon uniforms, Denby in the white uniforms. See the scoreboard right there, a nice video board by the Newport News Schools showcasing their wonderful equipment here. What will Heritage do?
It took us a while to get this quarter started, Greg, but once we got going, I think we had some great action here.
I think Carter hurt us up here. Hurricanes on the ground. No dice there. Final few seconds. What will they do? And the clock stops at 29 seconds, respectively, here at Todd Stadium in Newport News. Don't forget the Dr. Mary V. Bickaveras Memorial Tennis Tournament. You can see more about that on gjbtv.com. We brought that to you this year. One of the Heritage tennis players played in it against Bill Saunders, respectively. We did that at the Hampton Tennis Center this past spring. Read more about the winners on gjbtv.com tennis tournament section. Don't forget, folks, you are watching Prep Football on Cox Cable 47 in Newport News, Verizon 517, and nnpstv.com. Tell your friends about nnpstv.com. See the Denby sideline right there, trying to get a breather and stay hydrated. You know, you can lose a lot of fluids here quick.
Yeah, it's all about staying in shape, staying hydrated, keeping that thing going. There you see the Hurricanes getting ready for this final push, trying to score some points, punch it in before the half. But again, it's not just about being physical. It's also about that health, that nutrition aspect of the game before the game even starts.
Absolutely. 29 seconds left. 13-7. Heritage. Greg Bickaveras, Nate Milton, Tristan Rines. Good defense again by the Patriots, Nate. Denby stepping it up here. And they really is they going to get some momentum going into the second half.
Right. You know, it's a small thing as the clock starts to wind down. But if Denby can keep Heritage from scoring right now and go to the break only down 13-7, that's a moral victory for the Patriots and gives them something to build on for the second half.
But there's still 16 seconds left in the second quarter, respectively. See Carter Ficklin again. Carter's a good person, known him for a long, long time. Not a bad tennis player either. He's actually played the Dr. Mary V. Bickaveras Memorial Tennis Tournament a few times as well. Played in 2009 and also 2013. Hard to believe. Already 2014 is almost over.
Yeah, where did the time go? It's once football season gets here, it's almost time for you got Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and then it's New Year's.
Hey, don't rush Michael Myers here yet.
Don't be scared.
Yeah. You know, the girl that played in that movie, she was here back in the mid-'90s in that movie Virus in Newport News.
So, yeah.
Jamie Lee Curtis was here back in Newport News right here. And she had to put up with him all the time. Unbelievable. Flags again. You know, you and I are known for this no matter what we do the rest of our lives. She's known for that Halloween movie as well, and she was a great actress. See the rain still coming down. Some people are using the umbrella. Some people are not. Carter Ficklin doing his thing.
It's got to be good work, though, being in a horror movie, because they can always bring the bad guy back, whether it's Jason or Michael Myers. They can always bring him back for another movie.
You won't see me watching it. 13-7, 13 seconds, decision 2014. Great job, our school board members, city council members as well. A lot of them supporting Newport News Schools over the years. Great mayor we got in McKinley Price. I actually played McKinley in the tennis tournament years ago. I've had him on Sports Highlights in the past. He was a former school board member too. A lot of delays tonight. That has been the story of the game, the delays, and, of course, Heritage, the recap.
Yes, and, it started off early in the first quarter when we saw an early score by Marcus Van Hook, who ran in 2 scores for the Hurricanes. But Denby stormed back in the second quarter, and they were able to, come back. Jamal Wells came in, scored the touchdown, and that brings us to where we are right now. The score, 13 for the Heritage Hurricanes, 7 for the Denby Patriots.
Man, we got the band at halftime. Don't forget that. It's always a great treat. Look forward to that. Heritage is the home team tonight. Bad snap. Good defense by the Patriots. They're tightening up here with 10 seconds left in the second quarter as the clock stops.
And if Denby can come away and hold Heritage to a field goal, that's a victory in my book.
It's been a pretty even game considering Heritage has been, under control. They haven't dominated. They haven't gone to the next gear.
If Denby hadn't thrown that interception, it may be a different game, Greg. They've made some mistakes. They've gave Heritage some breaks, but Denby's hanging in there, and you got to respect the resilience of Denby, Tristan.
Certainly. They're really trying to come back in this game and try to make some more plays, especially in the end of the first half.
We got one half of football left after this, but we're going to see if Denby can complete this and keep Heritage off the scoreboard.
Smart by running the clock down, keeping their composure, getting some momentum and confidence. And that is halftime, folks. That is intermission right here from Todd Stadium in Newport News. It is Heritage up by 6, 13-7, respectively, from Todd Stadium in Newport News. Don't forget, we got the band coming up at halftime. We'll take a break, and we'll be back right here after these messages.
Honesty. Pass it on. A message from the Foundation for a Better Life.
Varys, Nate Milton, Tristan Rhines. Of course, we look forward to the halftime festivities. Both teams need to regroup here at halftime.
Right. Big time stop by Denby going into halftime and keeping the Heritage from scoring. And, the deficit is manageable. They can come back. And now this is what some of the folks come here to see. The game is great, but now we're going to get to the halftime festivities with the Heritage Band.
Enjoy it, folks.
I touched it. I touched the ball before it went out, Coach.
Come on, Alex. The ref did not call that.
You gotta be kidding me, Alex.
It's the championship game. Talk to him, Coach.
I touched it. It's their ball.
Don't foul them when they inbound. Team on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Nice going, Alex. Sorry, Coach.
Alex. Good call.
Sportsmanship. Pass it on.
Red.
All right, welcome back right here to beautiful Todd Stadium in Newport News. We're at halftime of high school football, our 24th year of exclusive prep sports on NNPS TV and NNPSTV.com. Greg Picaveras, Nate Milton, Tristan Ryan's cheerleaders excited about being on TV as well. And when you talk about this game, it's really been a very quiet game, but Heritage has found just enough to take that lead.
Right. You know, we had a lot of fun and games, pomp and circumstance with the bands, but now it's time to get serious again, Greg, and get into the second half of a very close game. I think it'd be a lot closer if we didn't see Denby make so many mistakes early, but they've done a great job of making some adjustments and acting tough and putting some defense on in the second quarter.
And we knew the field would be a condition with it being wet.
Right. You know, I think that attributed to some of the turnovers earlier by Denby, but, you know, it's going to be a dogfight, guys, here in the second half. Tristan, first of all, what do you think are, you know, 1 or 2 keys for Denby to get back into this contest and take the lead?
Keys for Denby really are to just create more positive plays and to slow down the opposing offense.
And now, if you're a Heritage Hurricane fan, you've got the lead. What do you got to do to keep that lead?
To keep the lead, you really have to establish more of a red zone presence and score more when you're in that opportunity.
Exactly. Anytime you get in the red zone, you got to take advantage of that. We didn't see Heritage do that right there at the end of the first half, Greg.
And you talk about offense, defense, special plays, avoid the big play, and, of course, move without the football. You know, it is just like in the NFL, a 53-man roster. It's the entire roster. It takes the village, the head coach, the assistant coaches. You know, you don't just show up on game day and win. It's all about the preparation.
Right. You know, 90% of winning is showing up and being dedicated in that preparation before the game even kicks off. And you've got 2 great young head coaches here with Massenberg and also with B2 Harris. And we're seeing a nice chess match here between these 2 young coaches.
Absolutely. We are at halftime right here, our 24th year. We did this game as well last year a few times. Always look forward to it. We mentioned Heritage has had some great coaches over the years too, and Roger Pierce, and of course Kurt Newsom, and John Quillen, Reggie Garrett. So many great players over the years have coached the Hurricanes.
And of course, you know, you talk about that great Heritage team from 2000 that won the state championship last season. We had a chance to talk to Larry Davis and Jay Cook from that great team. And, you know, what we're seeing right now with Coach Massenberg is he's trying to build that legacy up again, trying to get back to the heritage, if you will, of the Hurricanes. And we're seeing a great job from this young coach right now.
Yeah, they don't have the talent of the 2000 team, but they're playing more as a team, you know, early on. You know, that's the thing. They don't have the dominance of the 98, 99, and 2000 Heritage team. But this is still a solid team regardless.
Right. They don't have that one player out there like a Michael Johnson that is just going to change the game at any time. But what they do have is a team concept, and they're going to come out here and they're going to fight, and you're seeing that grit and determination on display today.
Absolutely. It's 13-7 is the score. Heritage in the maroon, Denby in the white. Right there you see their uniforms. Denby, of course, right there off of Denby Boulevard. Heritage in the southeast community doing a great job. Hard to believe Heritage started off in the school year 96-97 with Woodside as the 2 newest schools. But you talk about it as far as new schools, they're not so new anymore.
Right, and it's kind of ironic that the 2 quote-unquote baby schools of the Newport News school system in Heritage and Woodside have turned out to be consistently the best football programs over the past 15 years.
19 years old is Heritage and Woodside. 19 years. Of course, they won the state championship in 2000. Woodside's made the postseason. Denby made it last year.
You just think about that.
The longest team that hasn't made the postseason was Menchville way back in 93 when, you know, Macklin and company were there.
Right, Menchville, those great Tom Jacob teams of the early 90s. But you talk about Heritage and Woodside, just think about it. Tristan wasn't even born when those schools opened. That's how crazy things are, folks.
And we heard David Macklin.
And again, David Macklin, he was on the sports scene with you, Greg, on 1650 AM, which you can hear each and every Wednesday from 12 o'clock to 1 p.m. And again, check him out on tunein.com as well.
Nate was on there as well. 12-minute quarters in the Virginia High School League.
You've also got the archives up on YouTube as well.
That's it. Of course, our great school system channel on YouTube as well. And we have all of our archive shows and a lot of our programs right there on nnpstv.com. Short onside kick. Trying to catch special teams off balance. Reggie Garrett was an excellent coach at Heritage as well.
Right, Reggie Garrett, kind of got a bad break, having to follow the legend John Quillen. But when you look back at his team, they were pretty solid. They were pretty good. But now, we're seeing that they've had up and downs since Reggie Garrett left. And it's great to see the program get back on its feet with Coach Massenberg. I've really been impressed with the job he's done.
Let's see if we can get a shot of Barbecue. He's a legend at Heritage, folks. He's on the 25-yard line. Barbecue Lloyd Hicks. One of the all-time greats at Heritage, was at Ferguson for so many years. What a really inspiration that young man is. Good defense as well. Barbecue Lloyd Hicks right now on the 25-yard line. What a great story he is.
I'm telling you, just knowing Barbecue all these years, and he brings such a positive attitude and just a great spirit to things. And it's just amazing to see he's still associated with this program, and that's part of the family of the Hurricanes.
All right, 11:28 left here in quarter number 3. It's 13-7 Heritage. Clock rolls on. Denby with the football, 2nd and 15, going right to left in the white uniforms. And Denby in trouble. And the quarterback throws it up the middle, and it's complete. Nice throw right there by Wells.
Wells did a good job of just extending that play with his feet and finding a wide open Malik Sparks in the flat, and Malik Sparks was able to pick up some positive yardage. Great throw and catch by the Denby Patriots, and that's how you want to start the second half.
Try to get those short plays and open them up, not throw those interceptions or turnovers. 1st and 10 for Denby. Hard to believe it. Denby scores a touchdown and takes an extra point. They've got the lead.
Yeah, for as bad as Denby played in that first
game
quarter, they are still in this game. And I think, that stop to keep Heritage from scoring at the end of the first half was a pretty big stop.
And there's a screen pass. Just enough, but good defense by the Hurricanes, number 23 respectively. All right, let's take a look at Barbecue. There he is. Went to Ferguson with me. Went to Newport Youth Intermediate with the legendary Chris Covert, of course. And been a long-time manager, worked with George Walters, the late George Walters at Ferguson. That was his right-hand man, Barbecue Lloyd Hicks. Went to Ferguson High School, an institution in Newport News right there, folks. Real gentleman, real quiet. Never has asked for any spotlight at all, but he's what makes Heritage go behind the scenes. Barbecue Lloyd Hicks. Add a little coleslaw to that.
Absolutely. And what makes me such a fan of George Massenberg is, when he came in and brought in the new regime, he made a great point to keep Barbecue in the family. And I think that just shows you the type of coach that Coach Massenberg is.
And keeping in the family is another flag at the 9:52 mark. Tristan, a lot of flags tonight.
Certainly a lot of flags tonight. They need to really be more sound in their technique.
And I think one of the big keys for the team is, we've had a lot of stoppages and play guys. Which team can remain focused and composed through all these play stoppages? That could be the team that ends up with the advantage tonight.
There's Carter Ficklin right there at the white hat, the referee. Carter's pretty quiet in the second quarter.
Oh, he's just getting started, Greg. He's just getting warmed up. We love Carter up here, though.
Oh, yeah, Carter's our buddy. Last time we played tennis, we split sets, actually. He beat me one set, I beat him. I guarantee that will not happen again, though. 9:52 left in the third quarter. Glad you're with us. Don't forget to tweet us at Greg Bick at N8Mosaic. Nate and I are going to rate social media our top 4 in the fourth quarter as well when we do his report card. And decent run right there by the Patriots. Wells, number 5. Nate, really, Denby just needs to make smart plays here and good decisions.
Right. Denby doesn't have to force the issue right now. Just slowly and methodically work the ball down the field, get closer to pay dirt, and, get some points on the board. That's all they got to work on right now.
9:11 left in the third quarter. 13-7 Heritage. 12-minute quarters here in the Virginia High School League. And it's caught for a touchdown. Denby just ties it by number 6. Donnie Johnson, DJ in the house.
Hey, Mr. DJ, play me a record.
DJ's playing a vinyl record there.
Right, but it all starts with the quarterback. And here you're going to see Wells. He's in trouble. Wells is in trouble. Here comes the defense. And he going to spice it up to the DJ. Gets out of trouble, throws it downfield, and a great job of DJ to keep that ball in bounds, make the reception, and Denby is back in this game, folks.
6 minutes, Dougie Fresh, your own. I gotta give props to our wonderful former principal right here as well. Mr. Nichols doing a great job. He is the man. Replacing my longtime neighbor, Mr. Tyson, you know. But he is doing a great job.
That's what you love about this school system. So many quality people involved here.
Absolutely.
You know, and you know, what a great job right there by Denby that we saw, Tristan. And that's what I was talking about. If you can keep focused and just make slow, steady progression, slow, steady progress, that's how you get back into the game.
Definitely. Denby's really starting to make some more strides to really get into this game and make it much more interesting.
And speaking of more interesting, Greg, Chick-fil-A is extremely interesting to me.
Take it away, Nate.
And again, you can check out Chick-fil-A in the Hidewood Shopping Center. They're open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And again, they're on Warwick Boulevard in Newport News at the Hidewood Shopping Center, 7575-9506.
No, 0316.
0316.
I knew you were going to do that. Open daily Monday through Saturday.
I was just seeing if you were paying attention.
Yes.
But Chick-fil-A, they didn't invent chicken, but they did invent the chicken sandwich, again, in the Hidewood Shopping Center.
And add those
Chick-fil-A
pickles
fed
to
our
it too,
crew.
Nate.
Let them feed your crew. And speaking of hunger, Denby right now is hungry for a victory.
Absolutely. 8:53. It's 13-all. So we got a brand new ball game. Again, great presentation by the school board earlier on, and of course the nice band at halftime. Great festivities. Greg Bickaveris, Nate Milton, Tristan Rhines right here. Looks like a country song name that you've got. This is Leanne Rhymes, right? If this is a country song, I guess Johnny Cash would say, what would Johnny Cash say to this game, Nate? This is a country song.
I don't know if Johnny Cash or Garth Brooks or Leanne Rhymes, whoever you're going to have, but this is a song, you know, that sometimes the tractor runs away, the girl runs away, the dog runs away. But for Denby, the sad song is over because they're in the lead right now.
No, it's actually tied, 13-all. It's tied up.
Yeah, absolutely tied up, but they've got the momentum. They've got Uncle Mo on their
Nate seeing
side.
things out here. 13-all is the score. Third quarter, 8:44 left in the third quarter. Heritage going left to right in the maroon uniforms. Denby in the white. Glad you're with us right here, our 24th year of exclusive prep sports on NNPS TV and NNPSTV.com. Of course, the clock is stopped yet again. 8:44. Nate, Carter owes us lunch and dinner after this game.
Exactly. I think Carter, you know, we'll take Chick-fil-A. We love those chicken sandwiches, but you know.
So where should Carter take us out to dinner next time, Nate?
I think maybe someplace where you got to wear a suit and tie.
Yeah.
A jacket.
Ray can come along too. Unbelievable. Cheerleaders right there enjoying themselves. They say they would go for the ride too. Anyway. Delay. That has really been the story of the game tonight. The coaches will tell you, the staff will tell you, the players will tell you, the fans are really restless. They're like, what's going on here? I mean, there's no weather delay. The players are civil. I mean, there's nothing wrong. There's no drama on the field. Sports highlights, folks. Show Ray Price and I co-produce and host right here. Mondays at 7 a.m., 2 p.m., 7 p.m. Weekends at 9 a.m. on Cox Cable 47, 517. For more, watch archive shows on NNPSTV.com. We got the ATP tennis. Of course, Dino Van Price, Ray Price, myself on Sports Highlights in September. Watch it. And, of course, Twitter at Greg Bick, at Sports Highlight, at N8 Mosaic. That's that Sports Highlight without an S. No plural, Nate.
Absolutely. And, of course, since we got some time here, check out my podcast. We'll see the YouTube channel right there for the NNPS TV.
And the thing is, it's so friendly. You can just type in NNPS TV and it'll pretty much pop up. That's the advantage of YouTube and Google. Nice run there by the Hurricanes. He is just, and he goes, they say he goes out of bounds. Number 5 there, respectively, Nate Milton, Timothy Holden Buffet.
Yeah, Holden Buffet was headed towards pay dirt, but the officials called it back. Let's take a look here at the replay, see if there was an infraction.
Don't forget, there was a flag down, too.
Here you're going to see they're coming around the edge.
Penalty flag on the Hurricanes, too. So all this, there he is, the star of the show right there.
I happen to think it was a clean play. I didn't see a hold myself, Greg. But, then again, we're not down there on the field. We don't have that perspective.
There he is, folks.
There you see right there. They say that the hold, I don't know, Greg. It looked like both men were engaged. Holden Buffet, I don't see.
There was a holding and a Holden Buffet there.
Right. I didn't see any holding. I just saw Holden Buffet headed towards the end zone. I mean, come on. The refs got to spice it up a little bit.
Add a little hot sauce to it.
A little hot sauce.
Yes, we're almost into 2015 after tonight's game. 13 all, regardless. Heritage with the football, won the state championship way back in 2000 under John Quillin. Hard to believe, already the 15th year of this decade. 13 all. Both these teams made the postseason from a year ago. It was Denby's first time in the postseason since 1992 when Bob Schmidt coached the Patriots. That year, our first full year of doing games after 91, we did the Menchville-Denby game that year in 92. Menchville was just starting to get good under Tom Jacob back then.
Yeah, and just talk about some of the history and some of the rivalries, but now it seems as we see a great job by the Heritage offense, Heritage is kind of taking that position along with Woodside as the top 2 teams in Newport News.
But it was the 3 men that put Newport News football on the map. Charlie Nuttycombe, the late Thad Madden, and, of course, Matt Boone, and Ted Baycoat probably number 4. Nuttycombe is the only one who's still alive from that bunch. He coached Menchville from 70 to 88. Injury right there, folks. That's number 15 for Denby, respectively, Devon Thomas. 7:50 left. Nate, both teams tied up.
Yeah, we've seen a great job by both squads out here. And, you look at what we've seen so far. We got a tie game right now. And I think what I want to see from both of these teams, I want to see who can come out and impose their will. That's got to be the big thing we see from Denby or Heritage.
Yeah, really, the first team that can really establish something that really just gets their offense going can really take control of this game.
For Heritage, what we've seen most of the game is they relied on their running game, the power running game, the multiple back formation. Denby, surprisingly, we thought they were going to come in throwing the ball, but the quarterback is taking it on his shoulders. Wells has pretty much run that read option style, and we're going to see which team can use that to their advantage and come out with the victory.
That's right. The first team that can really just start to run or separate themselves either in the passing or run game can really just take control of this game and really have much more success.
And something that's very interesting right now, we came to this game, Denby was the underdog, but the longer the underdog hangs around with the favorite, the more confidence they get, and that could be a big difference as we head into the later parts of this game.
That's right, Greg. And I really see that Denby has really started to hang on, and they've really done some good things. They were down 13-0. They've really started to come back and make more of a presence in this game.
Yeah, whether it's football or life or radio or making cookies, confidence is everything, Greg, and we're seeing confidence from Denby right now.
All right, we're going to rate our top 4 social media. In just a few moments, Nate Milton's report card coming up in the fourth quarter, our crew list coming up in the fourth quarter. Don't forget, Wednesday night, your new night for high school football, 7 o'clock Wednesday night, right here showcasing the excellent prep audio and video football right here in Newport News. 7 o'clock, nnpstv.com. Scrambling, going nowhere, was number 7, respectively, Malik Deloach. All right, search engines, number 1, Google. Top 4, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and number 4, I guess you have to say Instagram, although I'm not on Instagram.
Yeah, I'm not an Instagram fan.
Top 4 for you.
Top 4 for me, of course, you got Facebook, you got Twitter.
Facebook
LinkedIn.
over Twitter?
Yep. LinkedIn. And then, surprisingly, as somebody that follows a lot of bands, MySpace is a great page for music.
Still open.
MySpace, right. It used to be open to the public. Now it's more for bands, for record labels. You can find a lot of breaking acts on MySpace, and I think that they're going to see a resurgence because of that music.
And there's a run right there by the Hurricanes, keeping it on the ground, trying to chew some clock up here. We're still in the third quarter, believe it or not. Getting past some of these evening hours here. Top search engine for you?
It's got to be Google.
Yep.
Like Google and, Bing's good, but Google is by far the easiest and most accessible search engine.
You hear people saying Bing it. Bing it. Instead of bring it, Bing it. I like Google. I'm a big Google. You never see somebody saying I'm going to Yahoo something or MSN or AOL something. I've never heard anybody say I'm going to AOL you, Nate. But they say I'm going to Google you.
Well, you become an institution when your name becomes a verb.
That's it.
And one of these days, we're all going to Bicaveris it.
Yeah. Why not? Plenty of time. Oh, my goodness.
All day.
Look at that daylight. Incomplete.
He had all day to throw that ball.
Probably should have ran it there, Nate.
He should, right. If you got that much time and you don't see a man open, tuck it down and run for that first down. He had all day and was not able to make a play.
6:02 left in the third quarter. We're tied 13-all here at Todd Stadium in Newport News. Greg Bicaveris, Nate Milton, and of course Tristan Rhines. High school, college, professional football in full gear. Baseball season heating up. Of course, Derek Jeter in his last year with the Yankees, and it's going to be tough for them.
Yeah, Derek Jeter, one of the few Yankees that I like as a Yankee hater. You got to respect the captain. You got to tip your cap to him. Just a great all-around player and person on and off the field. But this is what it's all about. October, we're getting close to the wild card races, the pennant races. And as a Braves fan, I want to see them do good. But it's going to be close as we see the punt from the Hurricanes.
Goes out of bounds at the 5:55 mark. Great to see Joe Torre in the Hall of Fame. He made his mark with the Braves as a manager.
Right,
He also
Joe
managed
Torre
the
starting
Mets.
off. A lot of people don't know that. With the
He had
Braves
Rick
organization.
Mahler, Dale Murphy, all those guys. And, of course, the Cardinals and the Dodgers, too.
And you talk about Braves, Cardinals, Dodgers, Yankees. Those are all, traditional organizations that have a lot of history and a lot of class. And you can tell that with Joe Torre.
He put the Braves on the map in the 80s.
And this past year at the Hall of Fame, a great year for the Braves. We saw Bobby Cox as well as John Smoltz, Tom Glavine, and
a lot of former Braves. You include Troy as a former Brave as well, yeah. Nate's a big baseball fan. Of course, I grew up watching Monday Night Baseball. Nate did as well.
Yeah, baseball, actually it was my favorite sport. Growing up, I played it. I watched it. I wanted to be a baseball player, but unfortunately, I did not have the athletic tools, but I had the gift of gab so I could talk about baseball.
You sure can talk. Nate's an Olympic talker. And there's number 4 right there, respectively, for the Patriots, Elijah Rice. Premonition.
What an interesting game we've seen tonight, Greg. We've seen the adjustment because last week, Denby threw the ball a lot against Tab. Tonight, we're seeing more runs against this Heritage team and slowing down the pace.
Last week, Denby and Tab combined for 78 points. Tonight, only 26. Heritage beat Wilson 26-8. Again, the Newport News Schools went 2-3 last week. Denby has got Kecoughtan, Phoebus, Warwick, Gloucester, Hampton, Menchville, Bethel, and Woodside left in their schedule.
You see Denby cheering their fallen teammate, hoping it comes off the field.
That is number 7 for Denby, Malik Sparks.
And you talk about that game last week that Wells had against Tab, 15 for 26, 367 yards, 3 touchdowns, just a force out there. And again, you want to talk about force, tell your friends about the force of nnpstv.com. Hampton Roads spell sports, nnpstv.com. And again, don't forget, sports highlights archives are available on nnpstv.com, and check them out. Tell your friends about it. Let the friends know where the action is, and that's nnpstv.com.
Beautiful grass field, the way football should be played on the grass. Good defense by the Hurricanes. Again, Heritage has been using that to their advantage tonight, Nate. That 4-3 defense by George Massenberg. Likes the multiple eye. Learned that from Mike Smith, who Nate and I rate as the 1-2 coaches of all time in the Peninsula. Mike Smith, number 1. Dennis Kozlowski, number 2, by far. Bill D would be number 3.
I was going to say, absolutely. We've had some great coaches. You talk about Coach Smith and Coach Kaz, Bill D, John Quillen, just the great names of these coaches.
They all won state championships.
Right. And, it's just the talent that we've seen both on the field and on the sidelines with the coaches here.
4:40 left in the third quarter, 13 all. Denby's got some daylight, in trouble. In the evening hour, the Patriots keep on using that hourglass to their advantage by number 5, respectively, Jamal Wells.
Very uncharacteristic tackling by Heritage. They just let Wells he's slicing and dicing him. We thought he was going to do damage with his arm, but he's been doing work with his legs tonight, guys. And again, this is Prep Football presented by Chick-fil-A at the Hydenwood Shopping Center in Newport News. And again, thank you to Rachel Davis Hair Studio and HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com for supporting Sports Highlights, the September edition.
4:26 left in the third quarter. It's just a bad play right there. You don't want to get sloppy here and have a turnover because right now it's anybody's ball game.
And it looks like he just pulled something there going for the ball on the turf.
And there's still a lot of cramps, a lot of fatigue. We talked about the hydration.
There you see just a simple play. He eludes the pass, gets down to the pocket, and right there, looks like he just came up, and that's Aaron Rowe. Aaron Rowe, who's had a couple great special teams returns tonight. It looked like he just, the hamstring or something, just looked like it gave out on him.
Players are tired, they're fatigued. Fatigue becomes a factor late in the second half.
And even though it's cool tonight, Greg, it's been hot, so that plays into it. And you see Coach Massenberg.
He's fired up. And George told me before the game, there he is, George, fine young fella, that he's staying here. He's not going anywhere unless he eventually might want to go to college. But always rumors who's going to take over Mike Smith's position eventually at Hampton. Of course, he's still coaching. Mike Smith has been at Hampton since the early 1960s. In fact, the late John F. Kennedy was the president, and Mike Smith was at Hampton High School, almost like Paterno at Penn State. Paterno was an assistant at Penn State from 1950 to 1965, head coach from 66 to 2011. Smith has been pretty much at Hampton since the early 60s, head coach since 71. 71.
Mike Smith, an institution in the Peninsula District, an institution in Virginia high school sports. And I got to admire Coach Massenberg for wanting to stay here at Heritage and build his own legacy.
And good defense there by Heritage. Here at the 4:05 mark left in the third quarter. Greg Pickaveris, Nate Milton, Tristan Rhines with you at Todd Stadium. What is up, Tristan Rhines? How are you?
Hey, Tristan, how are you enjoying this action out here today?
I think this is a pretty good game so far. Tied up 13-13 with about 4 minutes left in the third quarter here. So, exciting game.
It is an exciting game, and I think what we're seeing right now is the added adaptation right now, the way to be flexible from Denby. I'm really liking that. Instead of coming in here trying to force the passing game, they're like, okay, you're going to take that passing game away from us, but we're going to find another way to score some points. And they've been running the ball, working some play action, and having some success.
Exactly.
Good run there by the Patriots, number 5, respectively, Nate Milton, Jamal Wells.
And speaking of runs right there, we've seen that all night. Wells has done a great job of faking the pass and then taking off and running. And when he gets running, he's a big guy, got a big body, and it's hard to bring him down.
13-all is the score at Todd Stadium in Newport News. 3:15 left in the third quarter, showcasing prep sports for 24 years, over a dozen sports we've done over the years. Our big spring event, of course, is the Dr. Mary V. Bickaveris Memorial Tennis Tournament. Fumble! And it looks like Denby's got it lock and loaded right there. Of course, fatigue makes cowards of us all.
Right, and when you get fatigued, you also make mental errors, mental mistakes. We saw that right there. Denby cannot afford to make these mental mistakes, Tristan. As we see the score tied up 13-13, 2 minutes left in the quarter. They can't afford to make these mental mistakes.
No, you really can't, especially when the game's on the line in a tied game this late into the game, really. Turnovers, you cannot allow them, period.
Right, turnovers are a big thing, Greg. It's also about the discipline that we always talk about. And, when you get tired, it's a matter of sucking it up and being proactive and coming out and sticking to the game plan.
Sure is, Nate. Great point. 2:10 left in the third quarter. Denby on the quarterback keeper, nowhere there across the 50. As the final few moments roll on in the third quarter. Tell your friends about nnpstv.com. Sports highlights on nnpstv.com. Into the last few weeks of the summer. Technically, until the middle of the month, around the 20th, 21st. Still feels like early summer with the weather lately. 1:30 left in this third quarter. Shotgun that Tom Landry made famous for the Cowboys. And probably better off running was Wells right there. Of course, recruiting is a year-round sport now. You see all these recruiting, and, a lot of times they put pressure on these kids about what school you're going to go to. And Virginia's found out just because you've got good players, you still have to get the W's on the weekends.
Yeah, Virginia's had a tough go of things. They've gotten some pretty good players, but they really haven't been able to get over the hump and let that success translate on the field. And it's sad to me because I really like Mike London, and I like that he came to Hampton Roads when he first got the job to seek out players here in the Peninsula District, but it just hadn't worked out on the field.
Hasn't. He also went to Bethel and Tapp. My mom taught him in high school. He was a former police officer, too. Real gentleman, though. And there's the punt. Uh-oh. That was a hit after the fair catch. There's a flag. Late flag right there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just a mental error right there.
Turned down for what?
Lack of concentration. Turned down for what? It looked like number 21, Maurice Grant, was definitely turned up right there. Had the excitement, had the adrenaline rushing, but you got to be smarter than that. You cannot bump into the man when he's called for the fair catch, and you just – it's these type of mistakes that could win or lose you a game. They could cost you the game right here. That's something Denby cannot afford. They worked so hard to get this thing tied up, Greg. They can't just throw it away.
And that's what summer practice is all about, the discipline, the repetition, the fundamentals. You get the equipment, you test it out, you practice, like the shoulder pads, you find out what your strengths and weaknesses are, and you capitalize on it.
And the thing is
– and you still make mistakes.
Right.
And there's a run right there. Speedy number 7. For Heritage, Malik Deloach. Really, it's been all about Malik Deloach. Now, we've called his name more than anybody's.
So the thing is, Greg, going back to Denby, you can't always change physical strength, physical speed, size, all that stuff, but you can be smart. You can be smarter than the next guy, and that mental mistake, mental errors right there, those are things that you can control, and Denby has made one too many mistakes tonight.
It's like the unforced errors in tennis. You see George Massenberg right there talking to his quarterback, Malik Deloach, and Heritage has had some great players like Elton Brown and, like I mentioned, Larry Davis and Michael Johnson, Bruce Royal, Denby, of course, Terrence Dingle, and, of course, Max Yates, Antoine Bethea. He's had some concussions here lately. He got traded by the Colts.
Yeah, and Antoine Bethea is a good player. I've been a fan of his since he was at Denby, but, concussions, like we mentioned earlier, they're not something you want to play with. You want to take it safe because one game or one play is not worth the rest of your life.
No. Plenty of time. Up the middle, incomplete. Nobody has grasped and just taken this game by control here. It's been really anybody's ball game. It's up for grabs. You don't see you got to have that edge. You got to close the deal. If this is your sale, it's almost like they're letting the sale linger. Nobody's closing the deal.
Well, both of these teams are looking real tight right now, Tristan. I know you're a young man in high school. It's like when you're asking a girl to go to the dance. You got to be confident. You got to be in step with yourself. Play within yourself. But if you get tight, if you get nervous, if you get fidgety, she's going to tell you, keep it stepping. Boy, bye. So these teams right now, they need to be confident and focused.
Yeah, certainly. They really need to be able to use that to make plays. Be able to execute well and not really make any mistakes either. That's really the point of trying to get ahead in this game.
That's right. You got to take the girl to the dance. You can't have 2 left feet out there.
13-all. The one and only Nate Milton. That report card's coming up in the fourth quarter. 13-all, 10 seconds left in the third quarter. Nate's been the Carter Ficklin show tonight.
Yeah, Greg, and the thing about this is the closer that this game stays, the better I think it favors Denby because they're the underdog. The more you let them hang around, the more confident they get, the more bold they're going to be, and Heritage has to really make a statement and start putting some offense together.
It's the grassroots, the Pee Wee football, they starts then, they go to youth league, JV football. Woodside's got their own JV programs, of course. I really think JV is really best. 8th, and the better players like Allen Iverson played varsity in the 9th grade. The better elite players play varsity in the 9th grade. They don't have to even play JV, but still JV still serves a purpose for 8th, 9th, and 10th graders. Yeah. You don't get the limelight, but you work on these fundamentals, right. So when you get to varsity, you won't be a deer with headlights on.
That's right. You got to build your foundation. Let me tell you, the best JV player I ever played against was an 8th grade Ronald Curry. He was something else, Greg.
Right.
And you knew he was going to be
and
good.
that was like sandlot football on the high school fields, too.
I'm telling you, he made us look silly. I have no problem.
My dad's all-time favorite athlete at Hampton was Ronald Curry. He loved Ronald Curry.
Ronald Curry, of course, spent many years in the NFL with the Oakland Raiders.
The Raiders.
Receiver.
Yeah, we interviewed him at Hampton High School. He stopped practice and talked to Ray and I on Sports Highlights. Just stopped in the middle of practice. And, that was really a true testament. What a gentleman he was.
Always had a really good head on his shoulders. I've always been a fan of Ronald Curry.
All right, 10 seconds left, 13-all. Heritage got the football, 4th and 1 from their 43, going left to right in the maroon and white. Beautiful uniforms by both schools. 7 seconds left. I'm going to call Carter tomorrow, Nate. He owes us steak and lobster both.
That's right. That is right. Dinner on Carter.
And that's it. With 1 quarter left in this ball game, 3 are down. It's 13-all here at Todd Stadium. 12 minutes left in this Virginia High School League football game. It is 13-all. Heritage and Denby locked up here in Newport. You stay tuned. You don't want to miss the fourth quarter. And we'll be back after these messages.
Taxi!
When you can't do it all, do what you can. Compassion for others. Pass it on. A message from the Foundation for a Better Life.
All right, back right here in the start of the fourth quarter. Ice cream and cake, and I haven't had any in 4 months. I'm craving some, too.
Well, you're going to have some ice cream and cake tonight, Greg.
Well, I'm going to have some next week. I am going to eat ice cream next week. There's the cheerleaders right there. Tied up ball game. Got to give the edge to Heritage. They're doing the ice cream and cake. Well, I'll take a banana split. How about you, Nate?
There we go. Ice cream and cake.
There it is. Dancing with the Stars right there.
Can you do the ice cream and cake, Tristan?
Mike Nichols out there doing ice cream and cake. I never saw Dick Tyson doing the ice cream and cake. Where's Belinda Langston? She's not out there doing the ice cream and cake.
We need barbecue out there doing the ice cream and cake.
Fans right there saying, we can get out of our seats for nothing.
Turn down.
You can have all the ice cream and cake you want.
Ice cream and cake, everybody.
And they don't call it. That was obvious, Nate. You don't want to play roughhouse.
I don't know if the officials were distracted by the ice cream and cake, but that to me was a pretty blatant face mask. We're too busy looking at the ice cream and cake, I guess.
They must have heard Mr. Price talking to us.
Ice cream and face mask is more like it.
13-all, 10:54 left in this ball game. We're in the fourth quarter finally. Glad you're with us. For more, log on to nnpstv.com. High school football in prime time. And good defense by the Patriots.
This is what it's all about, Greg, as we're in our 24th year of prep sports here on nnpstv.com. You want to see a battle like this, a rivalry like this.
Now, number 3 for Denby, folks, is the nephew of Michael Vick, Casey Vick out there. His father, of course, went to Ferguson High School, number 3 for Denby. Casey, a fine young man, 6 foot 190. Junior, you see him, number 3.
Of course, Michael Vick now a member of the New York Jets, so we wish him the best as he's currently Geno Smith's backup, but I think he's going to see some playing time this year, Greg.
I love that name, Geno. Reminds me like pizza pie, Geno. And there's the pass. Complete.
Hello.
Big play. We said Denby can't afford to give up the big play, and they just did. Number 4 making a great catch. Marcus Van Hook, he's been the player of the game.
There it is. Let's take a look at the play. Again, great protection for DeLoach. He's going to take a step back. They do a great job of tossing it up way up in the sky. And mama, there goes that man again, Marcus Van Hook coming down with the moonbeam. Marcus Van Hook picking up some great field position for the Hurricanes, and they are knocking on the door.
And then red zone. All right, folks, right now our great crew list as well. The executive producer as well is Michelle Price, doing a wonderful job. The coordinating producer, tonight's producer, of course, like always, been with Telecom since 1992. Ray Price, wonderful producer of Sports Highlights, and, of course, Fusion Fitness as well. And, of course, our director, Bill Barlow, been with us since 1993, doing a splendid job, always consistent. Bill Barlow, Carl Daniels, a great asset to our staff as well, great temperament in Carl Daniels. We'll get to more of this in a minute. Of course, they want me to continue with the crew list, of course. Our engineer tonight, Ishrat Mohammed, doing a great job from the City Channel, a place where Brian Catlin also used to work at. And, of course, we wish the best to Brian Catlin. And DeAndre Foster doing a wonderful job, veteran of the Newport Youth Schools as well, doing a lot of different work behind the scenes. So it really takes a village to make it happen. The production staff doing a great job on air and behind the scenes. Nate will get to the student crew list when Denby gets the football. And all the best to Lorenzo Green and Dwayne Peterson. Touchdown. Heritage gets back in the scoreboard again. Number 7 scores 6 points. Nate, who else but Malik DeLoach?
Malik DeLoach doing a great job just running through the line. Great protection, and that's what you wanted to see if you're a fan of the Hurricanes. Set up a big play with the pass, and here you go on the replay. Let's look at Malik DeLoach doing a great job moving in. Just a simple play, looked like it was a botched snap. Malik picks it up off the ground, says, if y'all don't want this, I'm going to take it. Give it to me because I got it. I'm in the end zone. Malik DeLoach doing a great job with that presence of mind to pick up the ball and get into the end zone. And Heritage now has the lead in this very tight contest.
.8:45 left, and the kick is up, and it's good. So Heritage showed no fear, and now they got a 7-point lead. They played with confidence, and you felt like even though the game was tied up, Heritage has always been in control.
Right, and when the game is this close, it can change on one play. The momentum can shift so quickly, and we saw that right there by the Hurricanes.
Nate, how about the student crew list?
All right, our student crew tonight, we've got Regina Parker-Watkins, Miles Burgess, Dimitri Waddell, Janae Hopkins, Callie Ladder, Joshua Stout, Christopher Bersera, Ernst Hicks, Dakota Rust, Ben Anderson, Jewel Wooten, Stephanie Belito, Jada Brinkley, Justin Gatlin, and the man to my right hand, Tristan Rhines, up here in the booth. Great job by our student crew tonight. These kids have done some amazing work. And of course, Jaleel Burrell, shout out to Jaleel. Great job by our student staff tonight.
Good job by you tonight too, Tristan.
Great job for Tristan. How you feeling your first game, Tristan?
I'm feeling really excited.
I can feel the excitement coming through.
Tristan's low-key, though, Nate. It's like when Tristan speaks, everybody listens.
He's like E.F. Hutton.
And there's number 5 right there for Heritage. That's Timothy Holden Buffet. Nate's report card coming up here in just a few moments. And it'll never be easy in a sloppy game like this. And Denby gets it. Nate Milton report card presented by Chick-fil-A. For more, log on to nnpstv.com. Fourth quarter, it's 20-13 Heritage. Nate first 4 visiting Denby. Their overall offense, defense, and overall grade.
Well, Denby's offense has looked a little shaky tonight, Greg, but I got to give them credit for adjusting, making the right adjustments. And so I'm going to give Denby, let's give them a C on offense. On defense, they've done a great job of stopping Heritage. I'm going to give the defense a B. And
really?
So I think, the defense is what's kept Denby in this ball game so far. They had a great stop at the end of the first half, and now if the offense can pick up, we might see a great finish here.
We'll get the overall grade for Denby in just a moment. 20-13. Heritage up by 7 with 8:43 left. And this game has been over 2 hours already. And counting. Denby throws it, incomplete. How about the overall grade for Denby?
The overall grade for Denby, again, it may change in the last minute if Denby is able to pull this off, but as of right now, I'm going to give Denby a C for tonight's effort.
Heritage, they're up by 7 on offense first.
Heritage's offense, I've seen a great rushing attack, but they haven't been as aggressive as I like to see. I know Coach Massenberg has got to be a little bit disappointed in the points output. I'm going to give Heritage's offense tonight, I'll give them a C.
Named after our good old executive producer, Mr. C.
Mr. C.
And right there, telling you what time it is. Number 15 in the house, Devon Thomas. No doubting Thomas there.
No doubting Thomas right there. He was the truth. Which I guess leads us into Heritage's defense. Oddly enough, I was going to say Heritage's defense has looked pretty stiff all night. That last play aside, I got to give Heritage's defense a B because they've done a good job of containing a good quarterback. Let's take a look right here, though, at an example of Heritage's defense not stepping up. And Wells, who has got the potential to be really special at quarterback, does a great job finding DT in the flat. DT says, hey, I'm going to get out here and make some positive yardage. You can't get me fast as you can. I'm the gingerbread man. And they finally bring him down. Great job by Denby trying to fight here for every yard, every inch at the end of the game.
8:28 left, 20-13. So, again, recap the offense, defense, and overall grade
Offense for Heritage, I'm going to give them a C. Defense, I'm going to give them a B. Overall, I'm going to give Heritage a C because I know they can play a lot better than that, and I know Coach Massenberg feels the same way.
And injury, of course, on the field, of course, a lot of fatigue and dehydration, and got to keep those fluids going.
But all that matters, though, Greg, is if they win the game, grades aside, they passed.
But Nate's not an easy teacher either.
I am not, especially not the first game of the year.
Great job on the crew list, of course, as well as the report card, too. Thanks to our good friends at Chick-fil-A, and, of course, all the good people here at the Newport Youth School System behind the scenes. Starting off the school year very nicely. Don't forget the elementary schools, too. A lot of the elementary school parents, they talk to me and say, we love our kids. They're the future. They're absolutely right. The elementary school kids start it. The ones that go to Riverside and Hideaway and all the great schools, and they go to middle school. Then they go to one of the 5 Newport Youth high schools. Cheerleaders as well.
There they go. They're still doing that ice cream and cake.
Well, add banana split or hot fudge sundae for me then. I'm
prefer
overdue.
Cookie dough ice cream myself. That's
there
my
you
favorite.
go. Denby right there, nowhere. At the 8:20 mark, 20-13 Heritage. George Massenberg trying to get his second win in a row. Beat Denby, of course, last year. course, Denby's signature coach, of course, the late Matt Boone, and John Quillen, of course, who's still with us. Thank goodness. Quillen coached Denby back in 88 and 89. Had his biggest win against Mike Smith right here on this field in 89. Almost a premonition of what would happen 10 years down the road at Heritage. Unbelievable. Nowhere there by Denby. Good gang tackling there by the Hurricanes. Quillen got the most out of talent more than anybody else in the history of Newport News. He was as modest and humble as he could be. But John Quillen, in my opinion, got the most out of anybody ever in the history of Newport News coaching, ever.
Quillen, very modest, very humble, very mild-mannered, but he also had that intensity to get the most out of his team like you saw, and a great job. He's kind of set the template for these young coaches like Coach Massenberg, and I really like what Coach Massenberg is doing with this Heritage team.
Of course, he's had family members that went to Kecoughtan and Hampton both. 6:58 left in this game. Denby's got to be proactive here. They're looking like, a lot of clock is chewing up here in the fourth quarter. Here in this high school football prep game, glad you're with us. It's all about right here. Before the recruiting hot trails go, Denby's on the run. They've been on the run all night. Incomplete. Of course, the rain has not been a big factor, but it's still made things slippery when wet.
Yeah, I think the rain was a big factor early on when we saw some interceptions, some fumbles, but now, it's kind of evened out. But it does hurt the team that's the passing team, which is what Denby usually is. And so, when you see Wells go back to pass, sometimes the receivers aren't able to get the proper footing, and they're not able to connect on those passing routes.
Great point, Nate. 6:39 left. Of course, the athletic director for Denby, Brian Weaver, and, of course, the athletic director for Heritage, Dwayne Peters, who was a longtime assistant under Bill Lyons at Warwick High School. Bill had some great football teams here at Warwick for so many years. In fact, Bill replaced the late legendary Thad Madden. Madden coached Warwick from 71 to 80. Bill coached Warwick from 81 to 94. Had some great games on this field. Carter Ficklin right there doing his thing on the field too as well.
Is it just me or does Carter Ficklin remind you of Otis Williams or One of the Temptations when he's winding up those calls?
I never thought about it that way. That's a good point. Carter's wife is in one of those reality shows, too. Of course, you see reality shows all the time, like something about the best dress on TLC. Whatever.
Really?
Nate's a big fan of all the reality shows.
I will tell you, my mother loves Say Yes to the Dress.
Yeah,
she is a fan.
Yeah, exactly. So Carter's wife was a national celebrity there. I like that show, The Prophet, on CNBC. Marcus Lemonis trying to tell businesses how to make money. Or how to lose money.
That was a big special teams play, Greg, right there. Denby weren't able to get anything going offensively, but special teams-wise, they've pinned Heritage on the 1-yard line. Big-time play for Denby special teams.
6:30 left in the ball game. 20-13, Heritage up by 7. And we'll see what happens next. It's almost like the days of our lives. You never know what's going to happen next in this ball game.
The officials having a conference right now trying to decide whether it's a touchback or they're going to spot it at the 1. Obviously, you know which way that the Heritage fans would like it to go.
And Heritage, of course, has got Hampton next. We'll see what they're really made up against the Crabbers. You remember that old thing, you can't crush the crab.
Well, Heritage has had a couple injuries here early, so if they can get through this first stretch and still, remain undefeated, that goes a long way for this team. But right now, again, these officials have kind of been – these officials may not have been the story of the game, Tristan, but they definitely played a major part.
Yeah, the referees have really made a big impact in this game. Many stoppages throughout the entire game itself.
Yeah, I think George Massenberg is very frustrated right now.
You never want to see the officials decide the game, Greg, but they have played a pretty big part tonight.
Yeah, they have. They've been Shakespeare and all the actors wrapped up into one. The assistant coaches, you can hear them, folks, not happy. Because they're sitting right next to us.
We are bringing you the insides and outs of the game.
Yes, we hear it all.
Here on NNPSTV.com.
And right now, delay and just a little confusion there.
We got a lot of confusion out here on the field. Lots and lots of confused looks, both in the stands, up here in the booth. A lot of questions going on right now, folks.
We'll take a break, and we'll be back after these messages.
Honesty. Pass it on. A message from the Foundation for a Better Life.
All right, back right here. That's a dangerous pass, and it is almost intercepted.
Woo.
In deep in the end zone, that's when a lot of turnovers and penalties can happen right there again.
Yeah, you know, this is a point right now where Heritage has to regain their composure. You know, some may feel they got a raw deal on that call, but you can't compound the raw call with the mistake and throwing an interception or causing a turnover right now. You got to play smart. You got to follow the game plan and be disciplined. And I'm sure that's what Coach Massenberg is telling the boys right now.
Yeah, they're deep in the end zone right there. Heritage going right to left in the maroon. They're up by 7. They got to be very careful here deep in their own territory. A safety could happen very easily if Denby's proactive enough with this defense. So Heritage got past that 4-3 base defense pretty well.
Yeah, good job by Heritage creating some space, getting their backs off of that end zone line and doing a great job of moving forward, because right now it's all about field position. You know, the worst thing you can do is turn the ball over in the red zone. So, you know, if you can't pick up first downs, you at least want to get some yardage, make some space for your punter.
Yeah, the key thing was there the space. They're trying to open up the space here in the field. You got a 100-yard field, use it to your advantage.
Absolutely. You know, they're trying to do some things here, Greg. They just don't want to make a mistake because Denby is ready to pounce on them.
You want to play to win, not to lose.
Exactly. And sometimes when you play not to lose, that's when you end up making mistakes. That's when you end up losing.
Absolutely. 5:35 left in the ball game. Live content, live programming at its best right now. And Heritage is being very, very conservative. And Denby showing no fear.
Yeah, Denby's doing a great job of pressing the issue. They maybe have caught in a break by the officiating team, you know, in some people's perspective. But now, you know, it's all about what you do with those breaks when they're presented to you, what you do with your luck when it's given to you. And Denby is making the most out of it. They've done a great job here. And, you know, they've got an opportunity now to put some points back on the board. As you see, the crowd is here. They're intense. They're into this game. And the rain, the weather has not deterred the spirit of these fan bases right here tonight.
Absolutely. 4:50 left in this ball game. Of course, a punting formation for the Hurricanes and George Massenberg's squad. And right now these players are tired. They're fatigued. It's really become erratic out here. The game has lasted a long, long time, number one. A lot of delays, a lot of penalties. And, you know, what happens when you get cramps, you get fatigue, it's a long week. Coming off a holiday week, it shows.
Right, you know, long week, you know, coming off of that long summer vacation, now you got to get back in the mindset of playing football, the mindset of going to class every day. And, you know, when you get to the end of the week, you got a game with a lot of turnovers, a lot of penalties, a lot of wild things happening, the wild things going on. And, you know, it's interesting to see which team can regain their composure, which team can stay focused and really take this game home. Because right now, even though Heritage is up, it's still anybody's ball game.
Band showing a lot of energy here late in the fourth quarter. We'll see what it now becomes a lot of coaching strategy, a lot of, you know, don't want to make any mental errors here in the ball game. (20-13) Heritage, 4:43 left. along with Tristan Rhines and Nate Milton. Greg Bickaveras, glad you're with us here at Todd Stadium in Newport News. Watch it online on nnpstv.com. Decent punt and a better roll into the hands of Denby, waiting for it. And right now, Denby will have another opportunity in pretty good field position. What will they do with it, Nate?
Yeah, Denby's got to capitalize, but great field position. Their special teams have been doing big things all night long. And again, I think Heritage got caught unaware right there. They kind of came in lollygagging, and Denby was like, if you're not going to take this seriously, I am. I'm going to scoop it up and run right past you. Great job by the Denby Patriots. And again, this game coming to you Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Wednesday night, your new destination for the best in high school sports on NNPS TV and nnpstv.com.
Midweek.
What day it is? Guess what day it is, Greg?
September
it's
the 10th.
Football. Whoop, whoop.
Yeah.
Hump day.
What's that? Thursday's the new Friday now, right? Huh?
I guess orange is the new black, Thursday's the new Friday, and Wednesday's your new football night.
And out of bounds goes Denby with 4:23 left.
Denby is doing a real good job right now, Greg, of working their quarterback to the outside. The offensive line is giving them some good protection, and they're giving him a nice lane on the outside. He's picking up some positive yardage. I've been really impressed with what Denby has done tonight from the quarterback position, and you got to give a lot of credit to Wells, but also credit to Coach B2 Harris.
There's Jamal Wells right there. Nate just mentioned number 5. You see number 57 for Heritage, and that is Silas Walls. Love that name, Silas. Great. Former NBA player Paul Silas played for the Celtics.
Also a pretty good coach.
Wells deep in the wells there. Just a troubled play right there. Looked confused from the outset.
The one thing
almost got sacked.
Yeah, I was going to say, the one thing that I've seen tonight, Greg, the Wells need to work on is when you're in danger like that, get to the outside and throw the ball away.
Yeah, make a better, quicker decision.
Make quicker decisions, right, because the longer you stand there, a team like Heritage, which puts a lot of pressure on you through the middle, they're going to bring you down. So when you see that you're in danger, especially right now, you can't afford to go backwards, Tristan. You got to keep moving forward or at least throw the ball out of bounds. You got to make smarter decisions if you're Denby.
Certainly. They're really trying to
20 to 13.
Not even try. They need to score right now. It's late in the game. They don't know if they're going to get the ball back after this possession. It's very, very apparent that they need to score to stay in this one.
Absolutely. Denby needs to score right now, Greg. There's not a guarantee that they'll get this close again. And right now we're seeing they're moving backwards, and that's the wrong direction for the Patriots.
4:12 left in this ball game. Denby went backwards. They took a detour. This is Interstate 64. They're going to 264.
Yeah, I was going to say, unless you're Michael Jackson, you don't want to be moonwalking back on the field. You want to be moving forward.
You need acting like Nipsey Russell out here. There's a bomb. Intercepted.
Wow.
Big play of the game. Big catch by number 12, Brandon Jones.
Wow. That was a big-time play by the Heritage Hurricanes defense.
And the big-time team makes the big-time decision.
Let's take a look at the replay right now.
Up for grabs.
Not even a lot of pressure right there. It's just a bad toss by the quarterback, Wells. And right there, just kind of overthrows his man. Brandon comes up with the pick.
And give the Hurricanes a lot of credit for making that catch, too.
Brandon Jones with the play of the game right there. That could be the difference between going home with a win or going home with a loss.
Closing the deal. That could be checkmate.
That's right. Heritage has a great opportunity here to put the game away. All they need is even a field goal to really just put this one out of reach and for a win.
That's what comes with experience. As good as Wells has been tonight, he's still learning this system, and sometimes you press too much. You press too hard. You work too hard. You want to work hard, but you also got to work smart. And right there, that was not a smart throw by the young man Wells.
And Heritage does not want to go out of bounds either.
Yeah,
they don't want to go out of bounds.
Run out of bounds. They want to run this clock down. The clock is your friend. There you see the score, 2013. 3 minutes left to go in this contest.
3:47
wants
left.
to play that clock game.
Still 3:47 left. I mean, you want the clock to run.
Yeah, Denby still has a chance. That's the crazy thing about this. If they can make some stops, get a turnover, Denby still got a shot, Greg, but they're going to have to play really tough right now.
This game's gone over 2.5 hours. 3:47 left. Tristan doing sign language over here, Nate.
I'll tell you what, Tristan couldn't have picked a better game to start his career up here with.
It's all about decision making too, and you're seeing the Heritage making some good decisions here.
Yeah, really, they're trying to really run the clock down and make Denby waste their timeouts now. Denby still has 3 timeouts to use to really try to make something happen in this game, but what Heritage really needs to do is run the clock down.
Well, the one thing that we've seen about Denby is they can get some field position, get some yardage in quick bursts, whether it be special teams or on offense. The question is, can they get the ball back from Heritage? That's the key. If they can get the ball back with a minute or so to go, they got a shot at coming back in this game.
That's exactly what Denby needs to do right now.
Clock is stopped again. Delay. 20-13. That's the big problem that Bud Selig's faced with baseball, is these long delays that people don't have time for 4-hour games. What do you do, Commissioner Nate Milton?
Well, what you got to do, you got to speed up the game, but you also got to keep it, keep the spirit of the game intact. So I say we should make Carter Ficklin the Major League Baseball commissioner when Bud Selig retires.
Then the games will go 5 hours. Bring Pete Rose back into the Hall of Fame. I say yes. You? Pete Rose.
You never know, Greg. You never know.
Do you think he should go back in the Hall of Fame?
I think, I think Pete Rose should be in. I think Barry Bonds should be in. I think,
Mark McGwire, too?
Mark McGwire. I think, these guys should be in, but, there should be an asterisk on their plaque to let you know why they were kept out.
How about the band?
The band's going to get in the Hall of Fame with ice cream and cake.
Yeah.
Ice cream and cake, peanut butter and jelly.
3:40 left. Carter Ficklin says he's going to buy the entire audience dinner after tonight's game. Not only the people here in attendance, but people on TV. Goodness.
It's always a good time up here.
Yes.
NNPSTV.com.
Don't forget Peninsula Sports Club, too, folks. Great organization. Nate, you were an award winner. Ray Price, myself. Great club there.
Absolutely. One of the highlights of my career being given an award, and it's great to be recognized, but it's also great to be inducted with such men such as yourself and Ray Price, people that I not only consider co-workers but friends as well.
Absolutely. Heritage just keeping it on the ground. I don't know why they want to go out of bounds, but he's lucky he didn't. That's number 7, Malik Deloach. You want the clock to roll. The timeouts left. Both teams have them still. Wondering how B2 will use the clock here in the final 3:17 left.
Yeah, B2 not calling a timeout now, electing to forego that 4th down for the Heritage Hurricanes. Denby's going to get the ball back with some time on the clock, Greg, and as we mentioned, with Wells and some of those offensive weapons, they can put some points on the board in a hurry.
You are not kidding, Nathan. Sloppy punt rolls across the 40, where Denby will have it at the 2:47 mark, respectively. And there is our friend, the laundry man. We saw a graphic earlier of the laundry, didn't we?
Yeah, it is laundry day, so.
Yeah, there he is, folks. Carter Ficklin, real gentleman though. He's taking the limelight tonight.
Not only is this broadcast brought to you by Chick-fil-A, but apparently by Whirlpool Washers and Dryers.
Carter knows he's on TV. And online as well.
Yep.
The thing is now things can be Twittered, it can be Facebook, it can be shared instantaneously.
And this is like, you can, one of the great things about being online is that, we got men and women overseas in the military, and they can check us out on nnpstv.com, get some of that homegrown feeling out there overseas. And, of course, check out HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. And, of course, they supported Sports Highlights September edition. So shout out to them as well. And, again, big shout out to our men and women in this service, especially this time of year.
And our camera people are doing a good job following Carter Ficklin tonight, too. He's like the lone survivor.
Is Carter Ficklin on Twitter right now?
I think his wife's got a Twitter account, actually. 20 to 13.
We love Carter. We love Carter. We're just giving him some hard times over here.
His kids went to Bethel High School. Bad snap. Punt. Flags all over the place. The real estate has shown up. Yellow flags tonight.
Laundry
on the field. There it is.
There you go, folks.
We need to get them as one of our sponsors, too, Nate.
This game is brought to you by Tide on the Go.
The laundromat. There they are again.
I need Febreze to call us so we can get some sponsorship.
Look, Carter's going to go to the grocery store.
Downy, what's the Snuggly Bear? Is that the Downy Bear?
Not Snuggle.
Snuggle Bear. I want Snuggle to call up for sponsorship.
I guess all the years I bugged him as a kid as a basketball when he was my coach. Now this is my ultimate payback.
He's finally gotten back at you.
Yes, he has. 20 to 13, 2:40 left. As a few more moments, pushing 3 hours.
Heritage keeps on moving backwards. This just sets up better field position for Denby when they receive this punt. Again, this is the third punt, and the punter's leg has got to be tired, Tristan.
Yeah, he's punted it 3 times only because of penalties.
And there's the punt. As Denby gets it right around the 50. Now, when you have Dingle as a quarterback, you can score from anywhere in the field, but you don't have Terrence Dingle no more.
Right. Dingle was one of the greatest offensive weapons we've seen in a long time here in the Peninsula District, but we're going to see if Wells can make something happen. Great job, though, on that special teams play by the Heritage kickoff team. They were able to get down there, make the big stop, and now we're going to see if Denby can make something happen.
And even Alan Simon in the pass for Denby. You know, you look at some of the players. Denby's probably the most signature player ever, Antoine Buffet. Heritage, of course, Elton Brown. Now at the 49ers, as Mr. Price points out. Of course, the 49ers' best times were with Joe Montana and, of course,
the 49ers have
Jerry
a chance
Rice
this year, but, you know, Seattle's looking very tough, as we saw early on this season. Seattle's a tough team.
The whole West Coast is good. And Denby scoops it up off the ground like the ice cream and cake song by number 6. We used to be on Channel 6. Donnie Johnson, DJ.
DJ mixing up another hit right there for us. And the Denby Patriots, this is what you want to see. You know, they've got a tradition of quarterbacks. You talk about Terrence Dingle, Denzel Wise, Alan Simon, Sam Franklin. It's just some of the coaches, the quarterbacks that B2 Harris has coached. And now with this kid Wells, I think he's got another good kid, but it's just a matter of can he work himself into the system.
Who sang that song, Easy to Sunday Morning?
Oh, easy like Sunday morning. Lionel Richie and the Commodores.
A few more hours, we'll be into Sunday morning. How was your weekend? Well, I was here at Todd Stadium from Friday to Sunday. Anyway, 1:40 left, 1:43 to be exact. 3rd and 10, 20 to 13. Heritage up by 7 over their arch rival, the Denby Patriots. Nate, we talk about the rivalries. We still say Menchville-Denby still the best rivalry. Probably it was Heritage and Warwick for a long time when Tommy Raymond was there, and John Quillen was probably number 2. And, of course, Heritage and Woodside still a good rivalry as too. But still, Menchville and Denby are still the ultimate Newport News rivalry.
Yeah, I'd say Menchville-Denby still is probably the best Newport News rivalry, and I'm saying that without any bias as a Monarch.
Ferguson and Warwick was number 2, though.
Ferguson-Warwick was a good rivalry. I think Heritage-Woodside is a rivalry that may just be getting ready to start up again because you got Heritage and Woodside both looking very strong this year with Dodson and, the great job that he's doing with Woodside, and then you take a look at the great job that Heritage is doing. It's going to be a dogfight between those two teams.
Yep, there you see the nice scoreboard right there. Greg Pickaveris, Nate Milton, Tristan Rhines. Glad you're with us. Wednesday night, Showcase Football, 7 o'clock. Mark it down. Look at the TV radio log in the Daily Press by Sonny Dirk. Doing a great job. And, of course, we tweeted out as well. Stumbling, bumbling, and falling down. That could be it. That could be checkmate here from Todd Stadium. They're not playing checkers. They're playing chess.
Right. They got one more down. Of course, it's 4-down territory. But the one thing that I've seen all night, Wells has just not looked comfortable behind that offensive line.
Scoring recap, Nate.
And starting back in the first quarter, it was the Van Hook show as Marcus Van Hook ran in the first 2 touchdowns for Heritage. And then in the second quarter, Denby struck back as Jamal Wells ran in another touchdown. It was 13-7 at the half. In the third quarter, Denby, Wells passed to DJ Donnie Johnson for the touchdown. And then in the fourth quarter, as we saw, Heritage has had a great TD run by Deloach, and Heritage has the lead 20-13. Denby's got one more shot, though, Greg, on this fourth down play.
One shining moment left, huh?
They got one shining moment. Eminem said you got to lose yourself. You only get one chance. This opportunity could be your last shot, and we'll see if Wells and the Patriots can take advantage of this, or will Heritage shut them down.
Or they have to hear an Ariana Grande song or something. But she's in that what show, Sam and Cat? Remember Sam and Cat? Where does she come from all of a sudden?
We're going to see if Denby can pull a Frozen here and let it go. Will Wells be able to let it go?
Nate Milton on his Hollywood list. Guess what? Flags all over the place again.
It's incomplete, but we got flags.
$129.
We'll see what the officials call.
As that song would go, you rollin', you rollin'.
Penalty against the Patriots, penalty decline. And this is right here, this is what could be the end of the game for the Denby Patriots. They're going to get a holding call on this play. They see they're just trying to protect their quarterback. The line and the quarterback haven't been in sync all night. There's the hold. There's the incomplete pass, and that is it. Turn out the lights.
Almost
the party is over
here
for the Denby Patriots. 13-20, a minute and a half left in this ball game. Heritage looks like they're on the way to victory.
That show was Survivor. It was a long time first reality show. Then everybody else has created a reality show since then. We're going to call this high school reality tonight. We can last the longest out here in the field.
So what you're saying is the tribe has spoken.
Yeah. So I guess Heritage will be will win, but Denby's done good surviving.
Denby's the last 2 weeks, Denby had a chance to win, both against Tab and now against Heritage.
Dingle's been the missing ingredient. When you lose a quarterback like that, it makes a big difference.
Yeah, and I think, Wells is a good quarterback, but you just can't plug a kid in 1 week and expect him to learn the offense, to mesh with the team. It's going to take some time, and unfortunately, Denby does not have that time because they're now going to start the season 0-2.
And no timeouts left. The clock will just continue to roll. Of course, Oscar Smith in the big showcase. They've been on national TV from Chesapeake, and the Southside schools have always been dominant as well. They've been the school that's been showcased on national TV more than anybody from this area, more than Hampton, more than Phoebus, is Oscar Smith. What a great job they've done in Chesapeake. And the Virginia Beach schools, too, as well. Tommy Raymond's been in Virginia Beach for a long time, former Warwick and Ferguson and Gloucester coach.
And there we see Heritage in the victory
formation. Look at that.
Hello.
A hit on a put down. That is uncalled for. That's how injuries can happen right there.
Hello.
You don't want to hit a man when he's down. But that's when injuries really happen, Nate.
Yeah, this is that victory formation. This always used to be when I was playing back in high school, when we were down and, you couldn't do anything about it when they're running the clock out, or even now when I'm playing Madden and somebody does that to me, I'm like, come on, man.
All right, final few seconds. 20-13, Heritage will win it. They'll go to 2-0. They trip, but you know what? It doesn't matter because this ball game is a final. It is 20-13. Heritage beating Denby at Todd Stadium tonight. Heritage going to 2-0. Denby going to 0-2.
Great game by both teams. Great effort. But in the end, there can only be one winner, Greg, and that is the Heritage Hurricanes. They move on 2-0. Denby put in a valiant effort, but they're going to leave tonight 0-2. But a great job by both teams tonight, Tristan.
Yeah, certainly a good game of both teams, very close, and it's a great experience to have my first game.
All right, we'll take a break, and we'll be back after these messages.
I'm the greatest hitter in the world! Strike one. I'm the greatest hitter in the world! too. I'm the greatest hitter in the world! Strike 3. Wow. I'm the greatest pitcher in the world. Yes!
Optimism. Pass it on. A message from the Foundation for a Better Life.
And back to the action right here. Heritage wins it 20-13 over Denby. Greg Pickaveris, Nate Milton, Tristan Rhines right here showcasing wonderful high school football. Great to start it back our 24th year. And Heritage, not a pretty win, but they'll take the 2-0 anytime as well.
Absolutely. That's what rivalry games are all about. On paper, Heritage should have won this thing easily, but that's why they don't play the games on paper, folks. Great victory tonight, though, for the Heritage Hurricanes.
It was up for grabs, but Heritage had enough confidence and moxie and poise to get the win and close the deal.
Yeah, I can't say enough about, what Denby's effort tonight. Unfortunately, they weren't able to come away with a win, but a great game nonetheless. And Tristan, my man, your first night here in the booth, great game that you saw. How did you feel tonight?
I felt like I had a great time up here with you, too.
It's just a start, man. It's just a start.
Yep, we look forward to more football as well in the future right here. We'll get back to the field and close it up right here, of course, at Todd Stadium. Of course, watch our games every Wednesday at 7 o'clock for more. Log on to nnpstv.com. I want to thank our great people in the truck as well for doing a splendid job. Audio, video, supreme excellence by the Newport News Schools TV channel right there. Cox Cable 47, 517, and nnpstv.com. So for Ray Price and Tristan Rhines and Nate Milton, once again, Heritage beats Denby 20-13. I'm Greg Pickaveris. Good night, and we'll talk to you soon.